survive it. Only those who hold on earn a chance at everything. Once on the outside looking in, the Canes have proven to all they're here to stay. Tested from the inside out, the Rebels have turned uncertainty into strength. Hold on or go home.
What a throw! Racing to the end zone! Intercepted!
This is big. Both these teams have so much pride.
Malachi Tony, he doesn't lose foot races.
That's big time. There's going to be one team to continue and play again. Why not us?
Intercepted! A pick six!
The most resilient team in college football.
He's got a touchdown, Miami!
Their biggest win in 23 years.
Beautifully executed. What a night he's having. Chambliss continues a superb performance.
That is impossible to do.
Cristobal's Hurricanes have been road warriors. They've actually been on the road the last 5 games into the CFP. Traveled 8,300 miles. College Station, Dallas, and now all the way to Glendale. Underdog in the first 2 games. Slight favorites here tonight.
And I love these shots. Kind of the calm before the...
How relaxed is Pete Golding pregame?
I know. It's been that way the last 3 or 4 weeks. Now, that's what we see. Who knows what's going on inside? He's a competitive dude. But I just love this energy.
He's just hoping his quarterback can stay in the flow state. Mario Cristobal wants to make Chambliss uncomfortable from the first snap tonight.
Here we go.
Say slight crowd edge to Ole Miss. They've certainly been the more vocal fan base in the countdown to kickoff.
Yeah, I agree. I hear a lot of Miami Hurricane fans here, but it does feel, I see a lot more red.
Golding, of course, still calling the defense a lot on his platter. How has this small town Louisiana guy managed it? Maybe only he knows. A lot of improvements, especially on the defensive side of the ball this year. They've gone to the portal aggressively, and it's paid off. Back in their light blue jerseys, they went with the traditional dark blue. Very little has changed since Lane Kiffin departed. Golding has maintained the practice routine, the rhythm. Players perhaps inspired early by Kiffin's departure. Now I think it's just business as usual. Hurricane captains, including number 4 Mark Fletcher, who really ran through and over the Aggies and Buckeyes.
Yeah, Edgerrin James and Ray Lewis down there.
Legends all over the place.
Yeah.
Miami.
Yep.
And a few on the Ole Miss side as well, as we're about to see. Honorary captains Eli Manning, Patrick Willis jogging to midfield now. Ron Snodgrass is the official from this Big Ten crew.
Gentlemen, come in and greet each other. Congratulations to both teams on an outstanding season. and your achievements in the college football playoff. Joining us tonight for the coin toss is the general manager of Verbo, Mr. Larry Plowski, who will present tonight's commemorative flipping coin. Miami, you've been designated as the visitor for this game, and you'll call the toss. You repeat his call. The two helmets is heads, and the Fiesta Bowl logo is tails. What is your call?
Tails.
What did he call? He called tails. We're going to let it hit the ground. It is a head. Mississippi has won the toss, and they want to receive. Which goal you want to kick from? Put your backs to the goal.
So Mississippi, as he said, Ole Miss to most of us, wants the football first. Mario Cristobal's 175th game as a head coach at 3 different schools, season 4 at Miami. And Pete Golding, there is no precedent in college football. Maybe Steve Fisher with the Fab Five at Michigan.
Right.
Game number 3.
You and I, after the coin toss landed, favored Ole Miss. That was amazing. They'd take the ball.
Holly Rowe and Laura Rutledge on the sidelines. Here's Laura with Golding.
Thank you, Chris. And Pete, your team's been on an incredible run. Now you're one step away from being able to play in the national championship game. Why are they ready?
Yeah, I mean, just how they're wired, their resiliency, their love for each other, their competitive character. So we prepared the right way. We just got to go out and execute.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
A key thing to watch tonight for Ole Miss is Charlie Weiss, the offensive coordinator that's now the OC at LSU. He said the plan all along was to coach this Ole Miss team as long as they continue on. He discovered Trinidad Chambliss online. He said Trinidad deserves to have me here. Now let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Cristobal, you have built this team on the line of scrimmage. How can your line of scrimmage change this game tonight over the scheme of Ole Miss?
You got to chase and finish, and you got to be relentless every single play, all 3.5, 4 hours, whatever it takes.
All right, thank you so much, Coach. And they will get some help back on the line of scrimmage. Ahmad Bowden, who is their best defensive tackle, started 12 games this season, is available to play. He won't start tonight, but their cornerback, O.J. Frederick, who was injured against Ohio State in their last game, is available and will start.
That's key, getting Frederick back. You need all healthy corners available against this great wide receiving core. So Trinidad Chambliss, mesmerizing in 2 CFP games, gets the football first, and he'll be wary of Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor. As Holly mentioned, Moton inside. They have 12 sacks in the 2 CFP games. They've set the tone early in both games. Carter Davis debuted away. Isaiah Hartrup back deep for the Rebels. Spot in the championship game on the line here in the desert tonight. Sit back and enjoy. Davis boots it deep into the end zone, and the Rebels will begin from the 25-yard line. We talked about his background. He was a 4th stringer at Ferris State as a 170-pounder out of high school, but then got to Ole Miss, as you said, an injury to Austin Simmons gave him a job in game 3. Look what he did against Georgia in the 2nd time facing the Bulldogs.
Yeah, really had to play well late in that game, and everything fell into place. Made some remarkable plays off schedule. Well, again, have to do that. But I think Ole Miss taking the football after winning the toss, sending a message. They want this to be a track meet. Try to get Miami uncomfortable, see if they can score on this opening possession.
Kewan Lacey has been managing a left shoulder injury in the elite back. Miami's done a great job stopping the run so far. Quick pitch to the edge, and the catch is made by Harrison Wallace III. Hit immediately by Xavier Lucas.
Yeah, coordinators, Corey Heatherman, such a great job this year for the Miami defense. Very, very intense personality, rubs off on his defense, and we've talked about Charlie Weiss Jr.
They feed Lacey in the middle, and he's met after a very short gain. 2 yards, and Akeem Mesidor, much more than a pass rusher, stout at the edge.
And we'll get our first 3rd down all week. Once Ole Miss beat Georgia and Miami beat Ohio State, everybody's talking about we got a man down. Moton's actually down 99. He's shaking his head no. He's tried to go. Holly just made the report. Chris, you mentioned how this defensive line, how dominant they've been, but just watching him, I had my eyes on him. He's playing out there on one leg, so he is That's why he shook his head like, guys, I tried to go. But it's different, as you know, when you're trying to pass tests to get ready to go and then getting out on the field and going full go.
Got hit low there. 2 Ohio State blockers in the last game. He's been spending 4 hours at times in a single day in rehab just trying to get ready for this game, and a couple snaps and he's down to give a shake of the head.
Yeah, right away you could tell. In fact, those first couple times he tried to push off of it right away, right there, just on one leg. You can see it here, middle of the screen. That's how much he's favoring that right leg is up in the air there.
They use a 3-man rotation, so Justin Scott has really come on strong second half of the season, and David Blake Jr., who battled through an injury late season. They have confidence in those guys, but it's a blow to lose Moten.
Yeah, and Armando Blunt can also move. He's a defensive end at only 265, 18. They can move him to the inside as well for some depth. This is part of getting to this point in the season. You know, you got guys that are out there, they've been battling through injury, and you get to this point in the year, you're just holding on, and give them a lot of credit being a team guy trying to give it a go. And we'll see if he comes back. Like I said, Blunt is actually in the game. 18. He's undersized, but brings a lot of quickness. More of a defensive end that has the versatility to play inside.
An early third down in this opening series for the Rebels. Need 4. Canes showing some pressure. And they bring it. Chambliss backpedaling, flips it in desperation to the bench. Didn't get the ball to the line of scrimmage, but a heavy blitz. Mohamed Toure came right up the gut.
But they brought both their middle linebackers up right here. And because the back steps up, whichever one he steps to pick up drops, he's able, actually, Toure's able to get around him on the backside. You see the pressure there from Ruben Bain as well.
They call
offense number 6. It's outside the pocket. The pass did not get to the line of scrimmage. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. 4th down.
Yeah, that line of scrimmage is about the 31, and here's Toure, gets to him. That ball did not get beyond the line of scrimmage. So I was about to say, the big battle we talked about, Miami's defensive line, they've been dominant against A&M, dominant against Ohio State, against Ole Miss. That first 3rd down, obviously, the Canes rev up the engines, even with the injury to Moten on the inside.
All 4 teams in the semifinals of Australian punters. Oscar Bird, the 24-year-old freshman, is a good one. Malachi Tony on the hot, makes the short return, and Carson Beck and the Hurricanes will begin from the 37-yard line. The interceptions led to the loss at Louisville. The loss at SMU, many felt would doom their season, but look what Beck has done in the last 6 games. Very efficient of winning mistakes.
And I think that has as much to do with him playing smart, but also Shannon Dawson adjusting his offensive scheme and how they attack. Instead of attacking downfield, it's been the run game. It's been short underneath passes, screen, play action, not taking a lot of chances downfield.
Mark Fletcher, the monster game against A&M. Some back-breaking runs against Ohio State. Picks his way for a nice 1st down gain. Shannon Dawson and Golding grew up about 5 miles apart, small towns in Louisiana. They faced each other before at smaller schools.
No doubt about it. Both are excited, obviously, to be here in this position and be going up against each other. Both do such a nice job. You know, Pete Golding's a man-to-man guy, pressure guy, but because they're inexperienced on the back end, he's played 70% zone coverage this year, so really has had to change things up. They want to keep the ball in front of them tonight.
Fletcher, the junior from Fort Lauderdale, has the hot hand. This is a priority. Get the ball on the edge. Keenan Marion makes the catch, and the Canes a quick 1st down. Keelan picked up 8.
Yeah, good job there of using some motion, able to create a space there off to the right of Beck. Ole Miss did not adjust and bring anybody with that motion at all, and Marion just sat out there in the flat, and that's the kind of passes and yards after the catch that Miami's going to be looking for tonight. Ole Miss has got to tackle better than they have most of this year on the back end.
Malachi Tony is featured. C.J. Daniels, a veteran. Keelan Marion, the 3rd receiver on this team. Beck has protection. Looks for Tony down the middle. He was running free. Couldn't spot the ball. Covered by Whiteout Williams.
Yeah, this is just a miscommunication for Beck. I think the middle of the field with the safety coming down. Look at the middle of the field. he puts that out in front of him down the hash, it's probably a touchdown. So here's a miscommunication on the back end for Ole Miss. And Wyatt Williams that time had his eyes in a different spot than he needed to. And of all guys you want to keep an eye on, it's number 10 in White for this Ole Miss defense. He's the big playmaker. He and Becker usually in sync. That time, a second down run for Fletcher. Miami really has confidence in the running game against just about anybody in the country, but I think they feel like tonight they can grind it out against the Rebels. Yeah, it's actually, I think it's a pretty good battle in the interior because of what Pete Golding does. He does a lot of movement with his interior. You'll see twists and a lot of loops, just trying to affect the communication of that Miami offensive line. Athletic guys on the edge, and big Will Eccles and Xavier Harris in the middle. So the Canes face a 3rd and 8. 3 receivers bunched to the left. 3-man rush. Beck steps up. He can take off, doesn't run often, but gets north and south when he needs to. He's stopped by T.J. Daughtry a couple yards short of the marker. Yeah, they rush 3 and drop 8 on 3rd down. They do that quite a bit. Like I said, that's a new wrinkle this year for Ole Miss. They don't trust the corners to play a ton of man, so they dropped 8 in coverage. And Beck, I think, did the right thing. Pulled it down, athletic enough to give him a chance there, but now it's 4th and short, and they're going to go for it. Canes 13 for 20 on 4th down. 3 tight ends in the game. All stacked up to the left. Fletcher running up the middle. Initial contact was before the marker, but he's going to fight forward. They do a great job of pushing the runners forward. It's a 1st down. And that's what he loves to see. 4th down, let's run the ball. You think it's going to go to the left. Good job by Fletcher, eventually leaning to the right. The strength of this offensive line is the right side. Fletcher. Strength is the word, isn't it? Yeah, oh yeah. Andrew Jones, the senior linebacker, transfer from Grambling, down on the field as the athletic trainers for Ole Miss tend to him. Miami a 1st down on their opening possession at the Rebels 40. From their campus, really the only team, Kirk, in college football that realistically has a chance to win a championship on their actual home field. Yeah, what a story. And Mario Cristobal building this program back up, building it the right way. Marty Brown spelling Fletcher in the backfield for this 1st down play. And Brown, one of the guys that has a championship ring at a lower division, much like Champions. He was a North Dakota State guy, dominating FCS. Again, the line of scrimmage, such a big part. Look at Bauman, the tight end there. Good job holding, sustaining that block against the edge. Perkins, 4 positive yards. Get into those 2nd and 5. This game, the pacing in this game, we talked about who's going to get out of the gate and set the pace. Miami right now is doing that. This is their kind of game. Brown, a quiet game against Ohio State until crunch time when he made some huge rushes and a clutch 3rd down catch. This is Tony on the perimeter. Malachi Tony wiggles his way near the marker at the 31. The first of what Canes fans hope will be many touches tonight. Yeah, he does such a good job in so many different areas. And that time, you know, there is a book on him. As good as he is, he does have a tendency to get the ball a little bit loose. And that time, as they were tackling Will Eccles, 52, the big defensive tackle, running to the ball, first thing he did was swing with his right hand, trying to dislodge that football. So once you get a reputation, defenses attack that area. Had the ball punched out against A&M, but ended up scoring the game's only touchdown. An early fumble against Ohio State, but it bounced right back up to him. Yep. Going heavy again, this time to the right on short yardage. Beck looking to throw off the play fake, now checks it down, and Brown makes the catch, and he'll get a 1st down. Banged out of bounds near the 25. Yeah, this is a great job. It's 3rd and short. They go heavy. You're trying to get the defense to get kind of fall for that heavy fake. Instead, the safety takes that away. So instead of Beck forcing that and trying to make a big play in a semifinal game, hides the ball. Everything's great. Looks it off. Not there. Just check it down on 3rd and short. Get the ball out in space to Brown and let him pick up the 1st down. It's the maturity I think you've seen this year, not forcing and trying to make a play from Carson Beck.
Fletcher back in on first down. He's got the ball. Plows straight ahead. This is exactly what Cristobal was hoping to see.
They are just, those double teams are working exactly what he probably envisioned. Timing, good job there by Cooper, the right guard, working on that double team, get up to the linebackers. And again, look at the positive yards on 1st and 10. Now you're looking at a 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7. You just want to move the line of scrimmage. And these body blows, by the way, this is all built to take the game over and steal the will of this Ole Miss defense in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
11th play of this drive. Fletcher again, just yards before contact, rolling for a game that'll set up another 3rd and short.
And Ole Miss, as much as they want to keep their safeties back, at some point the adjustment will have to be to come down and start to help if Miami keeps running the ball for positive yards. And then that's when Beck can create maybe some one-on-one opportunities. But right now, Ole Miss is saying, hey, make them earn it. Keep the ball in front of us. Make them have to drive and see if they can score touchdowns in the red zone. We want to try to force those field goals down in this red zone area.
Malachi Tony, they call it the Mally Cat. He can run or throw off these, running all the way. Rebels all over him, and they spin him down for a loss. Cam Franklin, who was questionable early in the week, makes a big play.
Yeah, Cam Franklin saw what you saw, Chris. The fact that Malachi Tony is here, he's able to set the edge, get off of this block, keep his outside arm free to be able to bring down an electrifying potential play at Tony. See both guys able to penetrate. Harris 51, but Franklin's the one that makes the play. And that's really what Ole Miss is saying we're going to do. We're going to give up some yards. We want to squeeze them down in the red zone.
So Carter Davis, number 38, from 38 yards. Tough day in the wind at College Station, but only missed 2 field goal attempts other than that all season long. And the transfer came in from Florida Atlantic, puts Miami on top. They chew up almost 7.5 minutes, 13 plays, and draw first blood here in the desert with the legends on both sides looking on tonight.
CFP semifinal at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl is brought to you by Verbo. Enter Verbo Sweepstakes at verbosweeps.com for your chance to win a free stay. Taco Bell and AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Christopher Columbus High School, same high school as Fernando Mendoza. He was 44-4 in his playing career.
That's my error. Look at those shoulder pads. Look at those shoulder pads.
He says he was average, but he was surrounded by great players. Assistant coach stints for 2 different head coaches at Miami. As you said, he came back home and he was shocked, Kirk, when he saw the roster. You talked to him many times. When he saw the state of this program, he said he was ticked off. That's not exactly how he put it.
Well, from 11 to 21, this program was kind of, they were lost. In 21, they made a decision going into 22 that they were going to go out and put more of an investment into football and go get a guy that could help them go to the kind of that next level. And they went back to one of their own and found a great coach out of Eugene, Oregon, brought it back, and he's been building this thing back up, and here they are.
He had to build Oregon. He reminds us he inherited a 4-8 team in Eugene.
Right.
Couldn't beat his rivals and turn that around.
Yep.
So Cristobal and the Canes on top. Trinidad Chambliss, after a quick opening series, go back to work. Can he create the magic that mesmerized Georgia? He made his announcement after the Egg Bowl. Believed LSU had a better chance to win a championship than he did Ole Miss. Ironic at the moment. He really thought Pete Golding, Kirk, was going to go to Baton Rouge, back to his home state, and call the defense. He was surprised. Some assistants did make that move, and Golding has had to adapt and adjust. Tight ends coach Joe Cox, the wide receiver coach George McDonald. They're 2 guys who coached against Georgia but are now in Baton Rouge.
Think about that, Dane Stevens. These guys were there and a big part of that, and now not here. So they've had to make some tweaks this week.
3 and out with a 3rd down sack in their first series. Get the ball quickly to Kewan Lacey, who bounced off a hit. He's tough to tackle. Xavier Lucas finally does grab him, picks up about 3.
Yeah, and just to finish that point that you brought up, interesting. Pete Golding hired John David Baker, who was at East Carolina the last 2 years as an offensive coordinator. Think of that, ECU coaching. He's going to coach next year, but because of what happened with the Georgia game and now with his assistants, he's on the field coaching, trying to make some adjustments that help this team out. He's the OC next year.
2nd and 7. Chambliss on the move, gets the edge and is run out. Mike Stoops has been hanging around. He'll be part of the defensive staff next year.
Yeah, Frank Wilson, who ironically was at LSU as an interim head coach, right. He's now taken on a more prominent role. So they've had to kind of juggle some things. I asked him, did you have a chance to do a walkthrough with the game operation? They said, yeah, they tried to do that yesterday.
Kirk, early urgency here. It's the 3rd and 6 here. Got to watch the pass rush. You don't want to give the football back to Miami's methodical offense. Pressure comes again. Chambliss hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Corey Heatherman dialing some stuff up, and Keontae Scott from center field got home.
Yeah, Keontae Scott, who's such a versatile player. He has done this all year. He plays everywhere. Here he is, able to shoot through. And sometimes when you blitz, you just want to get the ball out before the receivers have a chance to get to the first down line. That's exactly what they do with Keontae Scott here. Able to come under control, came in a little bit high, gets away with it. And then, even if they catch that, they're 2 or 3 yards short of the first down.
Bird on the punt again. They want to hit Chambliss as many times as they possibly can. Heatherman says he coaches his guys to, quote, hate the quarterback, at least for 4 hours. And they play with some anger on that side.
Played with some hate there.
2nd series for back in the Canes coming up midway 1st quarter after a 48-yard punt by Bird.
Where Vrbo is giving away a free vacation for every touchdown scored during today's game. Scan the code or go to VrboSweepstakes.com to enter. Vrbo, vacation rentals done right.
Back-to-back 3 and outs by this explosive Ole Miss offense to start the game. Miami's defense aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, remember we talked about who's going to be able to set the pace. Miami has been able to have a nice, methodical, over 7-minute drive, the opening drive, and Ole Miss 2 3 and out. So track meet versus street fight. So far, street fight's winning.
Marty Brown up the left side, falling forward, picks up 8 more. These first down runs are devastating Ole Miss.
Yeah, and again, Ole Miss is, they move so much on the defensive line that they'll move themselves into plays and be able to create a tackle for a loss, or they'll move themselves out of a play and they create an easy blocking angle for the offensive line. So they've given up a lot of big plays. And, a lot of tackles for loss, but it's feast or famine when you move that defensive line as much as they do.
Play fake. Tight end Bowman just threw a nice block in the previous play. Makes the catch. Good for a first down at the 35.
Yeah, he is really coming on this year. He came over from Tulane in the portal. First year in Miami, 6'5", 250. An outstanding blocker. But because he's such a good blocker, he is able to get free and out in the flat many times because people just get their eyes off of him, because they don't think he's going to make plays in a pass game, but there he does for a first down.
Elijah Lofton, the more athletic pass-catching tight end, is a part of this attack as well. Fake to Brown, back looking down the middle, and Tony takes a shot, but makes the catch. A flag flies as Nick Cole hit him hard. Tony heading for the sidelines. They may be looking at targeting here.
Yeah, absolutely. Tony's able to get up, but you see that Nick Cole is still down, and Tony took a big hit, able to hold on to that football.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 19. The play will be under further review.
Your targeting rules protect the tackler as well as the man being tackled. And
correction, number 29.
Chris, watch the linebacker here, Daugherty. Fake, gets him up. He tries to recover into the back end, but because he reacted so quickly, he had a hard time. There he is, 6, trying to get back. So nice job of squeezing that in there, and then bang, helmet to helmet right there by Cole hitting Tony.
Early rep for Bill LeMonnier, our rules expert here. Bill, your quick take on this one?
Definitely defenseless player. Strong hit to the head neck area. This shouldn't take long.
Thankfully, Tony got up and got off the field.
Yeah, Tony's in the tent. call going into the tent as well, but he may be removed from this football game after looking at all these different hits.
Routine that they have to check out Tony after a hit like that in the tent.
And, yeah, those slow motions, here's real speed. And again, I always say this, but a lot of these rules are put in place to protect the defensive player as much as the offensive player that's defenseless.
After review, there is no foul for targeting on the play. The results of the play is a first down.
You disagree with the replay official?
They're looking, they also have to have an indicator in there. And I don't, a launch, the thrust, that type of thing. And running straight into them, they've deemed that is not
okay.
targeting.
That's I think people see that helmet to helmet, automatically assume, boom, that's going to be an ejection. But you're right, there was definitely no launch. It was just him running full speed directly into Tony.
Both Call and Tony remain in the medical tent right now. Miami, meanwhile, kind of put together another drive back in Ole Miss territory. C.J. Daniels comes across in motion. Fletcher has to cut back, or excuse me, Brown has to cut back. A flag comes out. Marty Brown still running to the 30. That flag was thrown in an area where you'd suggest it'd be holding.
Yeah, I think they're going to get a holding on 87.
Holding. Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty. First down.
18-yard gain negated. Miami didn't have a single penalty accepted in that Cotton Bowl win over Ohio State.
Yeah. Here's the AT&T connected cam right there. Right there, 6. Just fighting to get off of that block, and that effort to get off of that block creates the hold there by Bowman locking onto him. Daugherty, if you watch after this, he turns around right away. He knows, hey, man, this guy's holding me. So big gain negated with the holding call by the tight end.
Spot foul, moves it back, makes it 1st and 16.
It's the first time they've been behind the sticks in this first quarter.
Fletcher back in the game. Pitch on the edge. C.J. Daniels, or excuse me, that's Joshua Trader. They call him JoJo, another speedy guy on the edge. Holly, an update on Tony, who's trotting back out on the field.
He just popped out of the injury tent with his helmet in his hand and a pep in his step. He is good to go. They did check him out to make sure after that hard head injury if there was any problem, and there is not. He came right back out.
It was his 95th catch of the season. No other freshman receiver in FBS is even close to making the kind of impact Tony has. And receiving is just part of the package for him.
Oh, yeah.
2nd and 13. Beck steps up, plenty of time, and now pitches it incomplete to Fletcher. Is that a backwards pass?
That's a lateral.
He can pick it up and run with it if that's the case. Ends up working out pretty well. And it's going to be a gain of a few before Chris Graves got him down.
Yeah, this is a lateral, and it actually works out for Miami because they're able to pick it up. Watch Fletcher, again, rushing 3, dropping 8, clearly a lateral. Smart job, heads-up play by Fletcher to realize that ball is backwards. I got to get on top of it, and he's able to at least get some positive yards here. Now, again, 3rd down and long for Beck. Let's see what Pete Golding does here to dial up pressure as he sit back, rush 3, and drop 8.
Tony, slot to the right.
And movement left tackle. We're going to move him back 5 more.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's the senior Markel Bell, so a clean game against the Buckeyes, but 2 offensive penalties in this sequence for the Canes.
3rd and 9. These tackles are worried about the speed edge rush. They're trying to get a little bit of an early start. Bell that time caught right before the ball is snapped. This is an interesting aspect of this game. Miami behind the sticks at 3rd and long. More than capable, but obviously plays in the hands of the defense.
Beck really hasn't completed a single downfield shot. 0 for 4 so far in the 2 CFP games. Play clock running down. Got to hurry. Just gets it off, and they're going to run it right into the teeth of that defense. Fletcher gets nothing, so penalties undo that Hurricanes drive.
Well, Will Eccles has had such a good year in the interior of this defense. 52. Not surprised at all here by the fact that they were running the football, able to get off that block. You talk about really good, dominant interior defensive linemen to have athletic ability, size, and hands to be able to get off of blocks. You'll watch 52 tonight, be very impressed with what he can do.
Echols, a quiet leader. He could be an elite offensive lineman. He's that gifted, but they moved him over to defense, and he's doing very well there. And the punt will bounce into the end zone. So Dylan Joyce not able to knock it dead. All-State bus here in Arizona with Sam piloting things out west. What's the All-State good hands play this weekend?
Well, I think it's got to be Miami's defense. And what these guys have done, Akeem Mesidor and Ruben Bain, get a lot of attention, and deservedly so. Dominant against A&M, dominant against Ohio State, playing their best football by far, peaking at the right time. So that's what they did in their first 2 CFP games. Look at this. Regular season versus the first 2 CFP games. Sacks per game way up. Takeaways way up. Tough to run the football on them, and Ole Miss got to make some adjustments. First 2 series, 2 3-and-outs.
And -3 yards net on those 2 series. They hand it off inside. Keywan Lacey's going to be spun down very quickly by Toure. Laura?
Well, Chris, the message from quarterbacks coach Joe Judge to Trinidad Chambliss has been, let's just get the first down, trying to keep him calm, which he is, also reminding him why plays will work. But another thing to keep an eye on, with Miami out there so much, Trinidad's been on the sideline a lot. They're trying to keep his arm warm.
David Blay, by the way, charged across. So that'll cost Miami's defense 5.
Offside. Defense, number 11 with contact. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Ole Miss trying to go with some tempo. Now, usually you don't get the tempo really cranking till you get a first down. We haven't seen a first down yet. That's a big part of this game plan tonight for what Ole Miss wants to do with Chambliss, is run the football, take it off of Chambliss. He doesn't have to do everything, but get those first downs and crank the tempo up to neutralize that dominant defensive line. You want to tire them out by going fast.
End of the first quarter. Miami dominating the line of scrimmage and time of possession. The lead is 3-0 after 1 here in Glendale. You're watching the Verbo Fiesta Bowl on ESPN. Fiesta Bowl, 24 hours from now in Atlanta. Rematch of the win by the Hoosiers in Eugene earlier. Quick take on that Big Ten rematch. Man, so dominant in the Rose Bowl.
So dominant, and I'll tell you, in the first matchup, the Indiana defense, which they've been doing it all year, did a great job of creating pressure on Dante Moore. What kind of adjustments will Oregon make to try to slow down that pressure? And Indiana coming in, playing as well as they have all year on that side of the football. That'll be a great game.
Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy will call that for us in Atlanta. 2nd and 3 after the penalty. Lacey up the middle. Keywan Lacey's in the clear. It's a foot race. The Hurricanes cannot run him down. A lightning strike for Ole Miss. 73 yards.
Well, if you watched Ole Miss play, as much as Trinidad Chambliss gets talked about, it's really about a balanced attack this year. It starts with their ability to run the football with Keywan Lacey. And finally, they're able to settle into this game with a massive play up front, with the offensive line freeing up 5 to get him free to make a play.
Career long for Lacey. It was an afterthought at Mizzou at 23 carries in his freshman season. Ole Miss record 297 carries. And Ole Miss, after a shaky start on offense, suddenly has the lead.
And watch the combination block here. 51's able to work up to the linebacker. It just opens up perfectly. And I tell you, because of the formation, they went trips into the boundary. They're on the right hash. It affected the defensive alignment. They only had 1 middle linebacker there. Instead of usually they have 2 lined up. So 1 guy in the middle trying to handle that. And Bassett, 31, just took an angle where it made it easy for Lacey to outmaneuver him. And then it was a foot race between him and the safeties. So give Charlie Weiss Jr. a lot of credit There's one thing about the execution, but I think the formation into the boundary got Miami's alignment more into that boundary. And once he got to the second level, he was freed up to go to all the way to the house.
Such an aggressive approach, but Cristobal knows you get one crease. Keywan Lacey has quickly turned around this game. 10 seconds into the second quarter.
Now that's Ole Miss's style, right? Miami's methodical, possess the ball, and that's what Ole Miss wants to do.
Explosive plays, not just with the passing game. So Carson back off to a 6-for-7 start, but just 41 yards. The running game has been the key. The penalties ruined the last possession.
And I tell you, you and I are watching from Pasadena. Well, actually, you caught your flight. Our crew, you were getting ready for your NFL game. We're watching that Ole Miss-Georgia game, and it was a competitive game. And in the fourth quarter, it just it was like they switched. It was a different attitude on the field, different attitude in the stadium, and that's what's happened here. Now we'll see how Miami responds, but Ole Miss, the stadium now got some juice.
Now resilience, one of the key words to describe this team, and they bounced back from that start. Now have the lead. A long throw, and the catch made by C.J. Daniels on the sidelines picks up about 7.
They're going to be careful with C.J. Daniels tonight. A little bit on a pitch count. They were telling us that Shannon Dawson said, you know, we're going to play him early, of course, but we really want to make sure he's fresh for the second half. He's just been, you know, playing a lot of games to get dinged up, and they want to make sure he's good to go in that third and fourth quarter. Good catch there, though.
Veteran leader. Actually played at Liberty, played in the Fiesta Bowl for Liberty's 13-win team against Oregon in the loss. Fletcher's loose, and Mark Fletcher barrels out to the 44-yard line.
What a nice run there. The center does a good job. Brockermeyer able to kind of seal that movement that Ole Miss likes to use. See 52, heck of a block there. Now watch this, lower the shoulder. This is what Fletcher brings. He's going to run over guys. That time it was the corner, Antonio Kite.
Already 7 carries for Fletcher. As Tony motions in, another one of those condensed sets the Canes run. And off the play fake, Beck takes a look downfield. Nobody open, just checks it down. A flag comes in. Fletcher, the intended receiver, and Centurion Perkins from the edge out in coverage got there early.
Pass interference. Defense number 4. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
You know, and he typically does such a good job. You know, he can rush the quarterback, but also has the ability to get out in the flat and feel comfortable. They recruited him as a linebacker. Once again, everything taken away downfield, and that time he just gets there a little bit early, a lot early. I think he just lost where he was on the field. I think right away, as soon as he made that play, he looked up at the official like, damn, you got me.
Everything with this defense this guy does. Tackles for loss, forces fumbles, recovers fumbles, sacks the quarterback. That's incomplete. Beck tried to lead Tony toward the line of scrimmage through a fastball out of the strike zone.
You know, this is interesting because Tony is up off the line of scrimmage, but watch how deep he gets. And I don't know if he took a second or third step to get a little bit more depth, but clearly, you know, Carson Beck's expecting him a little bit closer, moving towards the line of scrimmage instead of backwards, and just that little thing causes an incompletion instead of yards after the catch.
Second time, Crook, they've been on a different page tonight. Their connection was so natural. Very first game for Tony was against Notre Dame. Caught a touchdown pass against the Irish. That's Joshua Moore, freshman with the catch, picks up 11 on the first down.
That's a great catch and a good recognition by Carson Beck. He felt the blitz. He had to get rid of the football. The blitz came from his left, right where he threw the ball. What a job there by Moore. 6'4", 215-pound true freshman with the fingertip grab there in the first down with the extra yards after that catch.
Maybe 7 different Hurricanes have caught a pass. And for a first down throw, back on the move, steps up, launches for Tony. It's over his head, incomplete. big emphasis on getting him downfield. A lot of stuff near the line of scrimmage in the first 2 CFP games.
Yeah, they try to double move here with Ole Miss, thinking a lot of this is going to be underneath throwing, so breaking some tendencies out and then up. Beat him. Actually gets behind him. That's the true freshman who's got a lot of ability to safety. But if you get a safety matched up one-on-one against Malachi Toney, you take that every single time. And they just miss a home run shot there.
But I think Beck saw Ladarian Carney try to stay with him, and the ball gave Toney no chance to make a play. 1 second and 10. And Beck will take off and run. Design run's not a big part, but he says, I'm going to lay my body on the line tonight if I need to.
Yeah, just a few little wrinkles for Shannon Dawson, just trying to find 5, 6, 7 yards there to try to give him a better shot here on 3rd down. You wonder here, 3rd down, you get 4 or 5 yards here. You think about going for it in plus territory.
Ole Miss faithful up and making a lot of noise. Protection is there. Ball across the middle. Catch made. Shot delivered. But holding on is Elijah Lofton, the tight end. It's a 1st down inside the 25.
Well, Carson Beck shows his maturity here, Chris. He starts off, I want you to watch his eyes to the right. He thinks he's got Toney out-leveraged. Instead, comes all the way back and is able to make a really accurate throw. Look at his eyes. From the front side to the back side. Makes the throw, and a heck of a job of holding on to that football.
Wadette Williams brought the lumber. You can see that Lofton hunched over on the sidelines.
Took that right in the chest. Big hit.
No, there's a misfire there. You can see the tight end Bowman.
Mario Cristobal, I think he got a timeout before any of that happened. He's jogging down the sideline. He gave a timeout sign before the ball got snapped.
There's no foul in the play. Charge timeout Miami. They're first of the game.
Everybody's seeing the explosiveness of this Ole Miss offense, so there's a premium on these possessions. He wants to keep it a low possession game. That means ones like this are crucial.
Yeah, good decision there. He didn't like what he saw, and you're right. Every time you get in plus territory, this could be one of those games. You better maximize your opportunities.
No, I don't do that.
I'm not either.
Awful. Retired, and nobody's asked me to unretire.
Yeah. I think I'm going to join your team.
So Lofton being looked at on the sidelines after making the catch and taking that big shot. Hurricanes in business with a 1st down to the Ole Miss 24. And Kewan Lacey on the bike after that explosive touchdown run of 73 yards, dealing with a hamstring issue. Marty Brown straight downhill, picks up about 3.5, 4 yards.
Boy, is he a great compliment to Fletcher, who carries the majority. Of course, he came into the Ohio State game, had a nice catch, got a touchdown, physical, brings some juice, transfer out of North Dakota State. Kind of runs the ball with that North Dakota State reputation with the bison, just looking for contact, but brings some wiggle and some speed as well.
And then 13-yard touchdown run to clinch the win over Ohio State. And 2nd and 4, Beck looking for the end zone. Looping throw intended for Toney, broken up by Jalen Braxton.
Again, with the free access, able to release, nobody jamming him near the line of scrimmage. This is just good against good. Tries to go to the back shoulder. And I tell you what, Braxton put himself in position, even though he didn't get his head turned around, did a good job of trying to catch up, realized because of the eyes of Toney that the ball was coming, and just put his arm up and ends up hitting the back of his shoulder. Great play there.
That's not what they mean by back shoulder throw. His shoulder.
Exactly. But a great recovery that time, and a good job of reading the eyes of that freshman receiver to get his hands up.
3rd and 7. Pressure comes, it's picked up. Toney, after the catch, escapes. Malachi Toney showing the strength to go along with that speed, really earns a 1st down. Perkins couldn't contain him.
Yeah, big key in this game is Ole Miss is the 3rd worst tackling defense in the SEC. We wondered if it would cost him against guys like Tony, and it definitely does here. Perkins is a veteran. He's got him wrapped up. He's short of the first down marker. You get him off the field, and instead, because of that effort by Tony, he's able to shake free and picks up a big first down. Let's remember that play.
188 pounds, Tony is. Very physical, solid player. He's a great blocker. Escapes the tackle, and the Canes set up at the 13. Tony being looked at on the sidelines again. Fletcher back in the game. And Mark Fletcher just bulldozes forward. That's been the pattern on these first down runs, just making it look easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tony is a tough guy. He'll be back out there, but you're right, Fletcher and that offensive line, good push there. It looks like Lofton is going to be taken out.
Took a big shot to the sternum area, taking him to be checked out. Wydett Williams for Ole Miss. Their nickelback out of the game at the moment. Physical start and a bunch of guys on both sides hurting. Fletcher again. Down inside the 5. It'll be 3rd and short.
Really like Fletcher's patience as a physical back. Does a good job of just pressing the hole, finding that soft spot in that defensive front. Doesn't always look for the 20 and 30-yard gain. He's comfortable finding that 4, 5, 6-yard gain. Eventually hits the home run, but isn't always searching it.
His value to this team is enormous. Cristobal calls him one of the pillars of the program. A real leader. With a very devoted mother, Cheryl, who's been driving to every single game of his career. On 3rd and 2, they feed Fletcher again, and Fletcher has a 1st and goal. Linda doesn't like to fly, so I don't care where the game is. She's driving to Berkeley last year, to College Station, back to Fort Lauderdale, to Dallas, back to Fort Lauderdale, and out here in Phoenix.
Whatever it takes. That's a devoted mother. Love to see that. She is so fired up right now. She wants her baby to score a touchdown right now. He is hammering into that Ole Miss defense along with that offensive line. He's going to come off the field. Marty Brown back in. 14th play of this drive coming up. Close to 7 minutes off the clock.
You have this jumbo set. You got 7 offensive linemen by my count, and Brown slips as he tried to make a cut. Footing in this field can sometimes be a little tricky.
It has a history, definitely being a little slippery.
Perhaps they go outside and then bring in on a tray.
Yep.
It can be kind of moist. Got to be careful with the cuts.
Yeah, you see the frustration there with Mario Cristobal. They had a ton of momentum. They were pushing. You thought that might be the clincher, a touchdown. Instead, the slip, and you go back about 2 yards. Same formation with that jumbo look.
There's an offensive lineman in the backfield as a lead blocker. Reaching for the end zone is Marty Brown, and Miami goes back on top, flexing on a 15-play touchdown drive.
That's Mario Cristobal football right there. That's what they pride themselves in. They're going to take a look to make sure that his knee doesn't touch. I think he's good. He stays airborne. Definitely a touchdown for Miami.
Landed on top of Olafatalu. He was a guy that wears 83 when he lines up in the backfield. Olafatalu is a 290-pound fullback, and I bet the drive from Miami. Ole Miss doing what they do when they have the ball. Miami doing what they love to do.
Yeah, you bring in all these offensive linemen. When you add them at the fullback, I mean, they had 8 offensive linemen in there, and went right back to Marty Brown after he slipped, and he ends up getting the pay dirt.
It converted 3 third downs in that drive. Cristobal's Canes back up by 3. 2 wins over teams that they played in the regular season. Laura, let's get a report from you on Kewan Lacey. What have you seen down there?
Well, after that touchdown run, the 73-yard run, Kewan Lacey immediately came over to the sideline and started looking at his right hamstring. They tried to massage it for a little bit. He used a Theragun on it for a while, even putting some heat on it. You can see him there trying to just keep it moving, and he ended up getting on the bike. The medical staff continues to ask him to stay warm, but something to keep an eye on. They've also wrapped it pretty tightly underneath the pants on his right leg. They've talked, too, about how they can help him at halftime.
Wow.
It'd be a negative yardage if not for that run. It's a bizarre thing, Kirk. Midway second quarter, Chambliss has attempted 3 passes, completed 2 of them for 8 yards. Miami's had the ball almost 20 minutes. Ole Miss for 3 minutes.
Think about that. I mean, we're past the halfway point here in this second quarter, and Ole Miss has had the football for 8 plays. I mean, this is, again, who's going to be able to dictate the pace of the game? Ole Miss they wanted 80, 90 snaps tonight. That was their kind of game. And Miami has been able to get them off the field for the most part, with the exception of that Lacey run. And then not only that, Carson Beck had a 13-play drive over 7 minutes, had a 15-play drive for a touchdown, another 7 minutes. So Corey Heatherman and the Canes defense doing their job, with the exception of getting out of position and getting creased there for that Lacey touchdown.
So Logan Diggs in for Lacey, the former LSU Bio Bengal and Notre Dame player. They fake it to him, and Chambliss now checks it down. It's bobbled by Diggs, makes the catch and tiptoes on the sideline. They finally sling him down. Akeem Mesidor made the tackle, but Diggs proving tough to tackle there.
Yeah, he may have stepped out of bounds, but I appreciate the effort and the attitude, the transfer, being able to come in over from LSU. We saw Tony do this, but yeah, his left foot stepped out of bounds well short of the first down.
2nd and 3. They feed Diggs. He's a powerful guy. Gets downhill for a first down. There's Cheryl Chambliss, Trinidad's mother. What a dramatic journey she's been ringside for with her son.
Yeah.
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Can't imagine.
Bear State here.
Her and her husband, what an amazing job they've done in raising their son. Trinidad's had a chance to talk to him this week and on the field before the game. Super humble guy with all this publicity.
Chambliss, pressure comes. He launches incomplete. Trinidad has a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, back by the quarterback. Makes you wonder. I think he might have gotten clubbed with a left hand there by Justin Scott. 5.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Remember, you go back to the word you said, hey, we've got to hate this quarterback for, it sends a message to do whatever you can. And when you get a chance to hit the quarterback, we're going to hit him. Watch 5 finish the play up high. You just can't do that. I mean, that is the ultimate. Even in this world where quarterbacks barely get touched to get a penalty, that was an old school left clothesline. I'm glad Chambliss got up from that one.
For a 310-pounder. Penalty moves the ball to Miami territory. Pressure's picked up. Complete in the seam. And that's Harrison Wallace III, one of the top weapons for this receiving corps, the former Penn State Nittany Lion.
You find that soft spot between the corner and the safety. It means the ball needs to come out on time, and it needs to come out flat on a line. It's exactly what Chambliss did. Didn't hesitate and got the ball out.
Pitch to the edge. It's Watkins. And Winston Watkins is knocked down. Caden Lee, the normal starter at slot, has been banged up, injured in the Georgia game. So Watkins will have to step up tonight.
Yeah, he's more than capable. He's played a lot this year as a true freshman. Very mature, powerful guy after the catch. That time they got him down. This looks like Ole Miss's offense, by the way. First time tonight.
Diggs still in for Lacey. Stopped at the line of scrimmage by Keontae Scott.
What a player Keontae Scott has been for this Miami defense, coming over from Auburn. With Corey Heatherman and his defense, he needs to have that hybrid player, right? A guy that can blitz at times, a guy that can play out in space, a guy that can defend the run, and that is Keontae Scott. That is his game. He will be so good at the next level, being that kind of hybrid player.
He can rush the passer. He's got 2 big sixes, including the one against Ohio State. 3rd and 7. Pressure comes. Chambliss trying to create on the move and has to just loft it out of bounds. Heavy pressure again. Scott was involved in that posse trying to chase him down.
Well, when you have 7 guys walked up, it makes it tough on the offensive line to know which way to turn. Look at that right now. Which way are you going to turn? They turn to the right, and they're blocking 3 guys or blocking 1 guy. So Miami shows the look, they drop out, and they bring the pressure from the left, confuse the offensive line, And Ole Miss, of course, they want that late hit. What do you think of that one, Bill?
Yeah, there was no need for that hit at the sideline there. That could have easily been called roughing the passer.
Moton gave him a shove there. Here comes Lucas Carnero, who's just been super clutch. Big part of that victory against Georgia. Obviously had the game winner, but had 2 long-range field goals early. Knocks that one through. 7-play drive for the Rebels. 10-10 was the dramatic win over the Ravens to get in the playoff, hosting C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock. Is this the final go-round for Aaron Rodgers? He's trying to prolong his career.
Yeah, incredible the way they've been able to finish. I think a lot of people assume Baltimore might advance in that division, but the Steelers do what they need to do with that big win late. Obviously, week 17 against Baltimore. So it should be a low-scoring game. Great defense. Houston playing great defense all year.
Chick-fil-A move on the field. Miami responding after Lacey took that 73 to the end zone with this drive.
Yeah, to respond to a big play. This is what a great team does. What a good job there, really, to start it with Lofton taking a hit on 3rd down. Here's a 3rd and 7. Effort play by the true freshman, Malachi Tony. You can see how short he is in the 1st down. Without that effort, he doesn't get that. So they're able to finish off this drive. These 15 plays. Taking 7 minutes off the clock, 3 third-down conversions. And right now, Ole Miss's defense, they are struggling. 10 missed tackles tonight already.
You're Pete Golding. What can you do to try to slow down this power running game?
I think that the plan is to, again, you're going to give up some yards, but you got to get them to 3rd and long. Win on 1st down like that.
Finally, they slow Fletcher down. That's Antonio Kite. Holly?
Guys, Carson Beck is in good form tonight. He's got about a 7-inch scar on the inside of his right elbow, his throwing arm. This time last year, he couldn't even bend his arm, let alone throw a football. He said it's the most pain he's been in, a torturous rehab process. He's getting up at 5 a.m. every day to get back out on the field, and here he is leading his team 1 game away from a national championship. His rehab has been a key reason why.
Yeah, it's tough. 4 months without throwing the ball. Throwing it here, and the catch is made, knocked down. Soon after the catch is Keelan Mary, and that's Chris Graves on the tackle. It'll bring up 3rd down.
We mentioned 10 missed tackles, so 1st and 10, you get a tackle by Daugherty. And now here's a good job out in space. They've been missing those tackles, so nice job there. One-on-one, who's going to make a play? Give credit to Graves for making that play to set this 3rd down up.
Ole Miss trying to get a stop here and have some time to work with before halftime.
Remember, Ole Miss won the toss, took the football. So Miami gets the ball to start the 2nd half.
Back, long throw, easy pitch and catch as Marion has become a weapon. Lots of focus on Tony and Daniels, and number 0's been involved big time in the 1st half.
And the only challenging part about this was a right hash with an outcut, but the corner just dropped. It just absolutely didn't challenge him at all. In fact, turned. Graves just made that play, but watch him at the top there. Completely lost in coverage and just really no chance at all. You can see that Marion wants it. You know, he turned up and lowered his shoulder into Graves, but Graves laying way off. I don't know if he wasn't expecting that long of a throw, but obviously Beck has that kind of arm to make that throw.
Kickoff returner, and in his 3rd school after playing at UConn and BYU, Marion making an impact. Bowman, the tight end, plowing forward for about 4.
How about Miami? They were 7 of 14 against Ohio State on 3rd down. That's saying a lot against Matt Patricia's defense and the way Ohio State played. And here they are out of the gate in this 1st half, 5 of 8 so far on these 3rd downs to extend these drives.
It was a struggle against A&M, and I think Shannon Dawson said he didn't call 2nd down very well in that game. He needs to be sharper tonight. Here's one of those 2nd downs and 6. Beck feeling some late pressure, launching downfield, wide open is Marion, another bust, and Miami back on top, 52 yards.
I hit my talk back in the middle of that play, and I said to our producer, touchdown. It was a bust. You could just see it. It was a matter of whether or not Carson Beck looked to the backside. Since he rolled to his right, he felt like he needed to move, and he looked back and found a wide open Marion.
In these playoff games, Kirk, you wonder which playmaker who's had an overshadowed quiet season is going to burst forth for Miami so far tonight. It's the veteran Keelan Marion. Beck, 14 for 18, 156, and that touchdown. Could he make a downfield play? They were lacking in the CFP. Yes, he can.
Yeah, here's the AT&T connected cam. And Chris, I want you to watch the safety because he gets caught up with his eyes in the wrong spot. You said it was a bust. See how he comes down to help out on the tight end? Well, when he does that, now you got a problem. Nobody's protecting the backside in the middle of the defense. Nobody's there. So it's a bust in coverage. The safety comes down to help out on that tight end, but nobody's protecting the middle of the field. You see Marion, he wasn't the primary receiver, but Carson Beck does a good job as he rolled to his right, looking back, found him, and then makes an easy throw for the touchdown. It's just a matter of locating the bust by that Ole Miss defense on the back end.
Talked about Dawson on those second down calls. You maybe would expect a run there. Instead, he moves the pocket, gets Beck some space, and all of a sudden Miami, as you said, will get the football to begin the second half. So up 7 now. A little urgency for Ole Miss to do something with this possession.
And you see that energy from Carson Beck? How great is that to see that facial expression after where he was a year ago with the injury, leaving Georgia, was looking for a home. He found it at Miami. Guys back out here having fun again.
Big time. Of course, last year in the CFP, he was having elbow surgery here in the SEC championship game. Really, really tough to watch. He said Georgia lose to Notre Dame. Getting his chance to be the man in Miami. We can attend the 2026 CFP National Championship in Las Vegas, by the way, with Playoff Premium, the official hospitality program. Sweet ticket packages, premier seating, hospitality, event access, and all that Vegas has to offer. PlayoffPremium.com. Book today.
Remember, after a slow start, Ole Miss has scored on their last 2 drives, a touchdown and then a field goal. And just because they're at 2:18, they got all 3 timeouts. The way they can operate, they can execute. They can put points on the board here.
Dejon Stribling still not targeted tonight. Lacey still out of the game. Looking at that hamstring going down low was Caleb Odom, the tight end, made the catch with the knee on the ground.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, their first couple drives, you see 3 and out, 3 and out. Then a big run by Lacey gets him a touchdown, and then they're able to put a 7-play drive together. Here comes pressure right here.
This is the timeout.
It's the 2-minute timeout. They had hoped to wear down Miami's defense with up-tempo. They haven't run nearly enough plays to accomplish that mission.
15 plays so far.
17-10 Canes. Ole Miss trying to get something going here. 2 minutes to play in the first half. CFP and Taco Bell bringing you the playoff Live My Student Section contest, and tickets provided for students from both schools to come all the way to Glendale here. Long journeys for both fan bases. And a great environment here.
Awesome environment, great weather. What a time to come out to this part of the country.
Like a little sun, with an objection to that, but
we had some sun.
I wanted to get Chip Camelback, but no, the weather wouldn't permit it.
I know.
2nd and 6. And they feed Diggs inside. Still haven't seen Keywan Lacey since that long touchdown run, and Laura reporting that the hamstring was the issue. Diggs a different kind of player.
Different, totally different. I mean, really, and I said earlier that Charlie Weiss Jr. told me this is the most complete offense and best offense that they've had since he and Lane Kiffin were in Oxford. And that says a lot. And I think it has a lot to do with Lacey and the balance and the depth of receivers.
Yet no tackle or no targets for Stribling. There's a direct snap to Diggs here, and he didn't get it. Diggs doing what Lacey often does, but to try to gain yardage on 3rd and short. Canes all over it. That was Besaint.
Watch
timeout taken.
Watch Bruckler 85. He just whiffs. He does not pick up any of the linebackers. 85 trying to come down and help out. Both the middle linebackers are able to get downhill. Chase Smith and Besaint, and they keep them short. Kind of tipped their hand. Pretty obvious that they were going to run up into the middle there, and they took that away. Missed opportunity for Ole Miss.
Pete Golding's offense not able to get in a rhythm. They haven't converted on the 3rd down yet. Kirk 0 for 4. And Miami spending that timeout trying to work with this 124 with 1 timeout and then get the ball back to start the 3rd quarter.
Huge opportunity right here for Miami because they're thinking field goal here, get the ball back. Keep in mind, Ole Miss is a team, last week they're down big at halftime, right? 21-12, I think it was at half. And a lot of people thought that this team had no chance of fighting back, so they're a resilient team themselves. But this feels different right? I mean,
why does it feel different?
It feels different because of what they're facing. This offense is out of rhythm because of the way Miami is playing. And now you have Lacey down potentially with a right hamstring. I mean, it's very, very different. They're doing the best they can to make tweaks. But Miami, you got to give them credit for the way they're playing defensively.
Oscar Bird to punt it away. It's a line drive kick. Tony comes up and makes the fair catch at the 26. So again, Miami, that long march to get a field goal lead. And Lacey gave Ole Miss the lead briefly, and then the Canes went back to work. Brown muscling in. They go back on top.
Yeah, just a good job. This is such a big play by Carson Beck, finding that bust on the back end and making Ole Miss pay for it. You wonder what Ole Miss will do here defensively, because can they get home? Can they affect Carson Beck, get him off his spot? You know, Carson Beck, to me, it's either really good Carson Beck or you're a little bit nervous. So he'll throw interceptions in streaks. You know, he had 3 or 3. Right now he's in total command because they're not getting a lot of pressure. Can they do that here with 119 where he's throwing the ball?
They haven't gotten close to sacking him yet. And until right there, right on cue, Princewill Uman-Mielen came looping around. Great quickness off the edge.
And I think the linebacker blitz really impacts the communication. See one right there working to the inside. Both offensive linemen, their eyes went to that blitzer. And that freed up one to be able to get home and finally come up with the pressure you just alluded to. They're able to get that sack.
And now it's Golding taking a timeout, hoping to get a stop and have time to work with here. It'll be 2nd and 18. Had to get a little creative. They were not getting near Beck at all until that play.
No, they've been not blitzing a lot. And again, their MO is more about rushing 3, dropping 8, trying to get coverage sacks. But that time they did dial up that linebacker blitz. And like I said, I think that really affected the right side and their communication.
That's a good point. When they have gotten sacks, it's because the quarterback's holding the ball, 3+ seconds. Of course, Des Howard, Saban, with Reese in the background there. Mercedes-Benz halftime report. We'll have a lot to say about this first half. Look ahead to the Peach Bowl tomorrow. That sack has changed the tone here.
Let's see what Shannon Dawson does here with this lead.
Handoff up the middle, and not much there. Just a couple yards, and now Golding will spend another timeout. Will Eccles wrapped running back up that time.
There's your answer. What would Shannon Dawson do with the lead, getting the ball back to start the second half after the sack? Run the football. They'll probably run it again here. Make them use their last time out. So instead of going into that aggressive mindset of at least trying to get a field goal, after the sack, they kind of pulled back with this lead.
So that sack by Uman-Mielen, the 9th of the year, he leads the team. Brother of Princely is going to play in a playoff game for Carolina. And all of a sudden things have changed, and Ole Miss perhaps plenty of time to work with to try to get some points before halftime. If they can get off the field here on 3rd and 16, seems likely. Is it more about the clock than trying to pick up the first if you're Dawson? There's another run. Brown eventually the whistle blows. TJ Daughtry got the stop, and now with 1:02, Golding will lose his final timeout.
Just watching Joe Judge, who was the head coach of the New York Giants and did a good job, you know, is in the NFL, worked so many years for Bill Belichick. Got to think that when Pete Golding's been going through all this, his background in being a head coach and understanding how to help out. In fact, he was the one right by the referee there calling the timeout instantly. So, you know, it's amazing what Pete Golding's been, the position he's been put in. You know, even tonight, not having some of his assistants that were in the Georgia game are not there now. But I think it's been a collective effort. And for a guy that's not been a head coach in his life, Pete Golding has kept this ship kind of steady and kept the hope alive. And I think the players have really rallied around that energy.
First 3 and out forced by this Rebels defense. Dylan Joyce on the move. High boots. And waving for a fair catch is Harrison Wallace. Talked about the closeness of the Chambliss family. Trinidad, a man of deep faith, and they do this every single game. You'll find his mom, Cheryl, and they have a pregame prayer. This goes back to his high school days. Incredible devotion. High school basketball and football until now, never missed a game, home or away.
Incredible. That's so great. And I think a lot of parents can relate to that effort to try to be there for their kids. Need about 30 yards to at least have a chance at a field goal here.
Chambliss just 6 completions. Again, only 8 pass attempts. It's just the 18th play Rebels have run in this first half. Pressure is picked up, has time, flips it down to Diggs, who breaks 1 tackle and gets out of bounds to preserve time. That was important.
Yeah, and it's a great drive starter here in a 2-minute offense. Good job of just checking it down, and Diggs with a heck of an effort. Remember, Diggs is 220 pounds. He's a different kind of back than Lacey. Doesn't have that burst and that big playability, but he can pull out of some of those tackles as he did there, and he did a good job getting out of bounds.
Missed all of last year with an ACL. Came back to be the complimentary back to Lacey, and his role is important tonight with Lacey out of the game.
Made some adjustments there to the right, shuffled the receivers, maybe finding a matchup.
Chambliss looking to the right and launching across the middle, and the catch is made. And Wallace, first down. Clock will stop momentarily at the 42.
Yeah, this is where Chambliss is at his best here, where he's not having to think as much, try to get the defense on their heels, play as fast as he can. Got to get to inside the 40 to have a real shot. Here comes the blitz.
And pass to Wallace again. Soft cushion on the far sideline. Steps out of bounds in Canes territory after 7 more.
Yeah, good job. Good feel there. Instead of pressing it downfield and taking a shot, just a quick little check, basically a check down there to Wallace. Right by the sideline. Hold on. Make plays. Out again, out of timeouts. So urgency here from Chambliss.
You saw the shot of Carnero. As good a long distance kicker as there is in college football. Chambliss, another throw, and there's a pitch to Caden Lee, who's playing banged up tonight.
Got to clock it here. He's right about that where you need to be. Just stop the clock after the first down. Fired into the ground here. There you go.
So 24 seconds. Carnero set a Sugar Bowl record and then broke it a little bit later in the first half against Georgia. He had their first 6 points. Came from Western Kentucky. He was clutch there. 2 walk-off winners, and then another one for the Rebels to beat Georgia. Not quite a walk-off, but a game winner.
Chris, look at Miami still looking to the sideline. They're going to have to call a timeout. See, that's what Ole Miss wanted tonight, is the tempo to try to affect the communication. And they were about to snap the ball. Miami's all looking over to the sideline, and then that's where they end up calling the timeout.
Talked about Carnero. These aren't just good from 55 plus. Watch where they land. Like way up in the net. Are you kidding me? That's the kind of stuff you see in your NFL game.
No doubt about it. Curved that one in perfectly up into the net again.
And then after dribbling, caught that slot fade, coolly knocked through the game winner.
Well, 40-yard line already in his range. Love to see another 5 to 10 yards just to make it a bit easier. But obviously with no timeouts, you cannot take a sack. If you make a completion and it's inbounds and short of the first down marker, there's got to be a quick reaction. So these are all things they work on. Now you just got to execute it on a big stage like this. But it's all on number 6 and his decision making here.
How does Heatherman play this? Does he try to bring some pressure here, knowing that they're basically in field goal range right now? Chambliss from the pocket. Oh, let's do an interception. Wow. His first real mistake is Dylan Day. The young free safety had both hands on that football.
Yeah, and watch, he's right here, right? Watch him able to move out to the outside. I'm not quite sure why he makes this throw, because it's very clear that he's in position to be able to jump this ball. I don't know if he just didn't see him or what the story might be, but boy, I'm surprised he made that throw.
Ole Miss very lucky to have a chance at getting points here. Chambliss now again delivers a sideline, and that's just dropped by Caleb Odom. So 4th down now, and Carnero will have that field goal range tested again. He hit 57 in pregame. That's about where this is going to be from.
And Ruben Bain has been great all year. He gets a push. He's able to get a paw up there and knock that ball away. He's able to block kicks.
Doesn't have very long arms, but he's so strong.
Yeah.
Barges his way in. Officially, this is a 58-yarder. Carnero steps into it and drives it right through. Are you kidding me? What a weapon this guy is. And acts like it's no big deal.
That's probably my favorite part. He just kicks it, watches it, stares it down, high fives the holder. Just like practice, guys.
He has re-signed to stay at Ole Miss for next year, he told me. He says the NFL can wait. I'm having fun at college, and
good for him.
Renegotiate. Maybe LSU was very eager to get him to transfer over there. I'll tell you that.
I would think like you said, what a weapon. That's from 58.
The Ravens would be eager to grab him.
Or we're in the Cardinals Stadium. They would love it.
He says NFL can wait. He's having a good time. And so they moved it 29 yards. And despite misfiring at the end of the drive, lucky to avoid the pick, they cut the lead to 4.
Doesn't it? Again, it's one of those games that if you didn't look at the score and you just said, okay, what's it feel like? It feels like Miami's up by 17 or 20 points. And right now it's a 4-point game. I mean, Miami's run 42 plays. Ole Miss has run 24.
Kewan Lacey getting an early start to halftime. Perhaps they'll try to give the star running back who accounted for Ole Miss's only touchdown some treatment there. This kick was going to bounce out of bounds with 11 seconds in the half.
That's big.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Miami exhausted their timeouts.
Yeah, I was going to say they're out of timeouts. So if you had a couple of timeouts, maybe a different approach, they'll probably just take the knee and get out of here.
Chambliss shaking his head. It hasn't been the kind of first half he envisioned. They've hardly had the football. And again, he hasn't been able to find Dejon Stribling yet.
Be interesting to see the word on Kewan Lacey too in the second half, if he has a chance of maybe coming back or if he's done.
Let's hear from Cristobal with Holly.
Well, Coach, you've dominated plays, time of possession, but the scoreboard is still close. What stands out that you've got to do better in the second half?
Well, you know what? One thing we got to do is make sure we have better pre-snap discipline and post-snap discipline. We made a couple of really uncharacteristic mistakes that cost us sometimes some yardage. Also, we got to convert on 3rd down. We had a sack there before the half that we felt we could have at least had a chance to score, gave him a chance to kick 3. So we got to finish putting together drives.
Thanks, Coach. Let's go to Laura now.
All right, thank you, Holly. Coach, what can you tell us about the status of your star running back, Kewan Lacey?
They're looking at him, so we'll figure it out at halftime.
And then what adjustments do you want to see defensively? You've been down before and come back.
Yeah, we got to play more physical up front, but again, tackling's been an issue. Obviously 3rd down, but we got to do a better job getting them on the ground.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Chris.
Happy to be in the game, but certainly, Kirk, very disappointed with the defense in the first half.
Absolutely.
Hurricanes will get the football to begin the second half. Stay tuned. Reese and the guys, the Mercedes-Benz halftime report right after these messages. You're watching the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. National championship. Interesting first half. Each offense kind of doing what they're designed to do. Miami grinding away, dominating time of possession. Ole Miss with a quick strike by Lacey, who's back out there, by the way, and then getting the 3 points before halftime. Chris Fowler back with Kirk Herbstreit. Be
interesting to see if Lacey can go. I know Laura Rutledge will have more on that, but I said at the end of that first half, it's 17-13, and because Miami controlled the clock and controlled time of possession, it just felt like they were, it almost felt like it was dominant, but it's a 4-point game. I don't know if it could go any worse for Ole Miss. They got to feel good about where they are, all things considered, and now Miami gets to start this second half with the football.
We're going to see what, if anything, Golding can do about Miami's dominance at the line of scrimmage. Clean up those coverage busts were a big part with Keelan Marion left wide open for the touchdown strike from 52 yards. Carnero, who did his thing with a 58-yard field goal to kick it off. What do you think? He's going to come up short? Even that goes almost through the goalposts. The Capital One rewarding performance. Grinding away here.
In Miami, a lot of third downs, good opportunities, efforts like this by Malachi Tony. Picks up that first down, eventually led to a touchdown. Another third down. Good job by Beck. Going from the right hash all the way to the boundary, and a great throw. This is a broken coverage there. Safety comes up. Good job by Beck late. Finding it, setting his feet, putting it out in front of Marion for another touchdown for the Canes. So 5 of 9 on third downs. Beck in complete command in that first half.
Not a big play running game. The longest run for Miami, 11 yards, but consistent gains of 5-6 yards as Fletcher plows forward for about 3. Holly?
Well, guys, Mario Cristobal keeps telling his team along the sidelines, be smart, be smart. Those 4 penalties in the first half were an issue. This is a team that now has 99 penalties on this season, and it has cost them in some momentum and on drives. He's also telling them to dig deep in this moment. 2 quick injury updates. Ahmad Moten, you've seen him back in the game. He talked his way back onto the field with that right ankle injury. Elijah Lofton, the tight end, is still in the back being evaluated.
Back on a second down throw. Try to get it to Marion, the hot hand. That was broken up by Chris Graves. Very tight coverage there.
Very tight coverage. And taking away some of that cushion that he gave up in the first half. See both the receiver and the defensive back kind of pushing back on each other.
Shake of the head from Bill Lamagna. Did not feel that warranted a flag. So the Rebels a chance to get off the field quickly here. Miami had 1 3-and-out in the first half. Beck still trying to get things organized. Play clock winding down. It's at 4. It is a pass to Tony, and Tony works free. Malachi Tony works a short play into an explosive gain. First down and much more.
So Ole Miss adjustment, bring pressure on third down. Remember, they've been rushing 3 and dropping 8. Now they blitz, and because he gets it out, you get it to Malachi Tony. Man-to-man on the back end, couple linemen in front of him. That is an easy conversion here for Miami.
Did Markel Bell, a 345-pound tackle out there in space.
Yeah, 6'9".
It's a big human in space. Fake it. And a downfield shot. Launching for C.J. Daniels. Broken up. For coverage at the end of the play. That was Graves again on the receiver.
Yeah, and Graves, you know, they challenged him a bit earlier. I think he gets away with some hands earlier. If you go way back at the beginning of this route, he was pretty handsy the entire time. Watch him. There's a hand, grabs onto his waist. I mean, that's where the interference is. Then he comes in late. Bill, that looks pretty aggressive to me.
Yeah, that early stuff did take steps away.
Yeah.
The second one I wasn't too big on, but the second early one, I agree with you.
2nd and 10. It's Tony in motion. They hand it off to Fletcher. And Fletcher just muscling, getting help from those big guys. He's still going. When will they stop the pile? It's down inside the 35.
Well, that's a heck of a job, obviously, by the front of the offensive line. Fletcher, tough running. It started with him. Once he got in, look at him, lower his shoulder, gets into the safeties. Now you're going to see him in that toughness. But then the offensive line, it's like they're doing a drill there, just pushing. That's Mario Cristobal right there.
I never played O-line. It goes without saying. That's got to be a lot of fun for a lineman.
Oh, yeah.
Just push the scrum. 19-yard gain.
Like pushing a blocking sled 10 yards downfield.
More fun than a sled, though, when they're wearing different jerseys, right? It's a flea flicker. And under pressure, Beck has to throw it away. Gets it to the bench, does cross the line of scrimmage. TJ Daughtry brought some pressure. They're talking about grounding here. See if it is.
Intentional grounding off offense, number 11, relinquished the ball and therefore is not granted the opportunity to legally ground the ball. Lost it down, spot of the foul, second down.
That's a distinction there. Once you give up the ball, quarterback doesn't have that outside the pocket protection.
Right on the money with that, Chris. You've got to be the guy who initially took the snap. That's when you get to do it. If you've lost the ball, comes back to you, you're not eligible.
And I'll tell you what, pretty good job up front, not being fooled and not biting on the bait at all. And this pushes him way back behind the sticks after that intentional grounding. Remember, they just had momentum after that big run. Now they're up to this, so the intentional grounding, 2nd and 22.
Shannon Dawson loves trickery at times. It's been effective. Both have backfired tonight. And this is Fletcher breaking free. Fletcher just bursting forward to get the penalty yards back and then some. Sets up a 3rd and 9.
So we've been bragging about Malachi Toney all year and what he does as a receiver. This is what I think separates him. This is a true freshman. Willingness to get in there like that. Heck of a job there with a player in conflict that's coming down. That extra guy that wants to be able to make the play near the line of scrimmage. He eliminates him. Allows Fletcher, who's a physical runner, to get downhill. But again, tip of the cap to these receivers from Miami, the way they block.
They're in field goal range for Carter Davis. As long as they don't go backwards. Rebels rush 4. Beck gets the ball out. Long throw, incomplete. Trying to fight back to it was Daniels. Again, Chris Graves in coverage. He was active in that series, and the Rebels force a field goal attempt.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have mattered because of the incompletion. But boy, the left tackle has some struggles here on 3rd down. Bell. Watch him. He gets away with a big-time hold there. Gets around his neck there. They don't call it, but much better job because of that intentional grounding. They got him behind the sticks, got him to 3rd and long, and they get off the field.
Remember, Mielman's 100 pounds lighter and a lot faster than Bell. So Davis from 51 to extend the lead back to 7. This one is right and stays right. So Davis, who struggled in the win at College Station, normally solid, and the Canes come up empty in their first possession of the 2nd half. Chambliss gets the football back in this 4-point game.
We're back in Glendale, where Ole Miss's star running back Kewan Lacey is going to try to go back in the game. This is the play that he was injured on, the 73-yard touchdown run where he pulled up toward the end here. Been dealing with a right hamstring injury ever since. When he came out of half, he's got that black sleeve on the right leg. That was a change. He got some treatment at halftime, and Pete Golding said, we're going to try to give it a go. He also told me he needs all of his star players to play a little bit better in the 2nd half, guys.
There is Lacey Laura. First offensive snap. They fake it to him. Pitch to the edge. And a catch made. Dejon Stripling, the back shoulder fade, beat Xavier Lucas, his first catch tonight.
And a good job there because they got blitzed by the safety, Jacoby Thomas. Good job by Chambliss feeling that nobody was there to pick him up, but he put it right on the money under that duress.
21-yard strike. Pressure picked up again. Big hit. Catch made over the middle. That's Caden Lee, who took some shots against Georgia, had to come out of that game. Jacoby Thomas on the hit there.
Thomas on the blitz, this time Thomas on the hit. And how about the catch and holding on to that football despite taking that big hit?
He comes across in motion, and oh my goodness, almost another pick. Jacoby Thomas had it in his hands. Chambliss has been lucky twice tonight to avoid a pick.
And they're going to still crank the tempo. Watch the motion go here. Watch the reaction by the safety. He sees that, he's done his scouting report, expects that ball to come out, jumps it, almost got right in front of that for a big turnover for the Canes.
They do a terrific job studying on tape. They jump a lot of routes because their preparation helps them. Again, Chambliss lucky to survive that. And now a misfire trying to find Daquan Wright.
You could see what the change and adjustments were for Pete Golding and Charlie Weiss Jr. They wanted to get back to who they are, which is tempo, fast, even after an incompletion. They're trying to get Miami's defense on its heels.
Yet to convert on 3rd down tonight, 0 for 5. Miami not showing pressure. They bring some late. Up the middle. Chambliss delivers, and it's batted around, almost intercepted off the hands of Harrison Wallace. Poiser knocked it free, and a chance for a pick there. Ball's incomplete. Here comes the field goal team.
And I'll tell you, this defense, I think Connor, 24, ends up jumping this. Their eyes, because they're playing some zone, are on the quarterback. You're so close. They're just bouncing that around. But you see how quick, I mean, he was open for a second, but Connor's able to take that away with how quickly he reacted.
It was Besant that had a chance to make the pick.
Yeah.
Much like the end of the first half, they dropped an interception, and here comes Carnero from distance, 52, and it's going to doink off the upright. A rare miss from 52. Each solid kicker has missed early in the third quarter, and the lead is still 4.
No foregone conclusions, obviously, in these games. I mean, as good as he has been, he hit it clean. I thought it was going to go up and over the upright. Instead, doink.
That's almost more than a doink. That's a clunk off there. Yeah. No foregone conclusions is right. These are playoff games. Odd things happen. Static on the brain sometimes. Still 17-13.
Incredible.
4 between 83 and 91, the 2001 team in the Rose Bowl, which clobbered Nebraska. But Fiesta Bowl loss to Ohio State, the controversial one. 5 interceptions from Vinny Testaverde in the 86 season, lost to Penn State. Maybe the Hard Rock Stadium oasis in the desert.
Yeah.
They can get out of here with the win.
He knows all about those championships, what it takes as a player, what it takes as a coach. It's been his mission coming back to Coral Gables.
1-2 as a player. Beck scans the field, and we just dart forward. About a half-yard picked up there. Nobody open. Uman Mielema's closing in.
Remember, Miami, they've really been able to dictate things offensively when they're able to run the football and put Carson Beck in favorable down and distances. That's their game. That's why they had a 13-play drive, a 15-play drive. They have to continue, not look for the explosive play. That'll come to you. Don't force that. Just continue to control the line of scrimmage, run the football, and throw those high percentage throws.
There's a second down run. Fletcher kind of hesitated, ran into some heavy traffic and managed to get 4 out of it, but it's going to be 3rd and long, pushing and shoving after the whistle.
You know, Ole Miss, again, they've adjusted a little bit themselves. They were in a lot of zone defense. Pete Golding is a man-to-man, aggressive, blitz you kind of guy. That's where his background is. That's who he wants to be. He can't be that with his secondary this year, so he's had to pick his spots when he's put guys on islands. Prefers to play with those safeties back, which is tough to do against the run game, but here we are in 3rd down.
Centurion Perkins comes in the game. Left side of the defense trying to harass Beck, who will have to step up, escape the pocket. Tony's out there blocking for him, and the little guy on the edge, who's a big blocker, gets back first down yardage for 8.
And again, remember we talked about the movement, the twist game that they like to do. Watch 5 right here in the middle. Cam Franklin on the over that right tackle. He twists. Now he takes himself out of position. Now that defensive back on Malachi Tony's in no man's land. You're going to stay on Tony and give it up to the quarterback, or you take the quarterback and give up the quick throw. And this is an underrated aspect of Carson Beck's game. 6'4" guy that can run if you leave him alone like that.
Not an electric scrambler like Chambliss can be, but efficient, effective. Got 8 when he needed it there. Now Fletcher, another productive first down run shoved out in Ole Miss territory.
Yeah, again, this is Miami's game. That's who they want to be. That good call that time by Shannon Dawson. Motioned away from the boundary, then ran back into it. Had the numbers to their advantage, so picks up positive gain there on 1st and 10. Trying to wear down this Ole Miss defensive line. You saw 51 Xavier Harris there jogging off, looked very, very tired.
So Cam Franklin trying to get his guys pumped up. This is when it gets tough. They've taken some body blows in that first half. They got to withstand
100%.
Another 23 minutes or so. Holly?
Carson Beck using his legs more effectively. Shannon Dawson said he actually showed him some video this last week of NFL quarterbacks and how they slide or roll forward. He said he can turn a 2-yard run into a 4-yard run depending on his body position. He's been really smart about how he's using his legs. Good coaching by Shannon Dawson.
Another third down here. Marty Brown is in the game. Fletcher out. Tony in motion. And Brown's got it straight ahead. Bangs for a first down inside the 40. Nice to have an offensive line when you feel comfortable just running for it in 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4.
Absolutely. You know, absolutely. It's just the offensive line. Good, tough running, able to stay fresh by bringing Marty Brown in, give Fletcher a little bit of a break. So far tonight, Fletcher 17 carries. Marty Brown has 9, just coming in just enough there to keep Fletcher healthy and close to 100%.
Downfield. Brown is working his way back to good help. We talked about the impact that he made late in the win over Ohio State after doing basically not much for the first 50 minutes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people marveled at that because that was a physical game, and he came in late and just, you know, instead of easing into it, there's Fletcher again catching his breath, talking to the training staff there. So in the meantime, Brown will continue to get his carries.
Antonio Kite, the corner for Ole Miss, ran off, being seen by the athletic training staff.
Movement.
And has a flinch on the right side there. It's the kind of thing that Cristobal mentioned at halftime to Holly. Lack of focus in the pre-snap penalties.
Offense number 73, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So clean against Ohio State, not able to duplicate that tonight. That's penalty number 6.
Yeah, and I'm trying to say there wasn't a hard count. There was nothing there. He just moved, you know. And again, that's exactly what Holly and mentioned about Mario Cristobal, like you just said, Chris. I mean, that's a great example. This is not an offense. They want to, again, they want to run the ball and stay ahead of the chains. Now, again, it's 2nd and 13 with a penalty.
Back from the pocket, finds drops. JoJo Trader had it in his hands. Back to the defense and lost focus.
I think he just started to think about what am I going to do with this football in traffic after I make the catch. I think he started to make that move instead of securing the catch and maybe taking a big hit. He started to think about maybe getting hit instead of thinking about securing the football. So now again, remember, they had their way on 3rd down in the first half. Now they're behind the sticks again.
Beck has time, steps up, long way to run this time. He takes off, and he's brought down at the 30, got within a couple of yards of a first down. So now a decision for Cristobal. They're in field goal range, but does he go for it?
And watch, they try to spy with the safety here. Watch this right here, and watch the fact that, hey, his job is to make sure if the quarterback scrambles, I got him. Instead, he gets hit by 2 different offensive linemen that freed up all that space for Carson Beck to once again use those legs.
Cristobal going, 3 tight ends. Brown is the back. Check it, 2 tight ends. And they just run it right up the middle. And it's Brown again converting. The scrum pushes the ball down near the 20.
I'm a big proponent of these kind of runs, 4th and 2, and you just say, you know what we're doing, we know what we're doing, can you stop us? And then you get it with that kind of effort. That is such a big thing for morale and the boost. You can see here the sideline from Miami reacting because they love that. You challenge them, they answer the call. I think that's as big of a thing in wearing a team down, a defense down, as anything. Converting on 4th and 2, running the football.
Eccles and Harris here are so effective against Georgia, making plays, getting shoved around tonight, and it's Brown again grabbing about 4 more.
Yeah, they've had 11 plays on their drives, 10 runs. We just talked about what do they need to do? Get back to running the ball, dinking and dunking, and screen game. That's what they've done here on this drive. It's been amazing to see them control the line of scrimmage and eat up the clock.
147 rushing yards and counting for the Canes. Fletcher's still on the sidelines. So it's Brown again. And Brown this time met in the backfield. That's Xavier Harris, who was such a force against the Dogs. He had 10 tackles in his interior line position in that Sugar Bowl win.
Is he going to be able to get up? He's the guy that I said looks the most fatigued with this style of offense he's going up against tonight. Interior, trying to rotate. I mean, it's a big man, 6'8", 330 pounds. Actually recruited him as an offensive tackle, but he went over to the defensive side and has done so well. But these body blows are starting to add up to this Ole Miss defense. It's a third drive that Miami has had tonight of 13 plays or more.
This time they need 7, though, Kirk, and Fletcher is back in the game. Marion comes across in motion, and another false start.
I think it's the right guard again, 73, Cooper.
False start. Offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Miami trying to overcome some self-inflicted wounds on this drive. That's the second pre-snap penalty. They had the drop earlier by Trader.
And Cooper having a tough time on this drive alone. Guys trying to pick him up. Now that when you see mistakes like that, that's mental fatigue as much as anything.
Tony slot left. Daniels to the right. Fletcher is the back. 3rd and 12 now. Beck looks across the middle, batted in the air and intercepted. Ball batted up in the air and picked off by Kapena Gushikin. First turnover tonight. And it's the second pick he's thrown in the last 7 games.
Yeah, and this one's really not on him. Cam Franklin, the big defensive end, 6'5", does a heck of a job of timing up when to get his hands up in the air. Watch 5 right here. Watch the job he does. He's lined up, trying to get off of that block. Hands get up in the air to be able to knock that ball into the air, and there's the turnover.
Man from Maui makes the takeaway from the shores of Haleakala, the volcano there. This pass batted in the air by Franklin. Gushikin makes the pick. And the Rebels will take over. Still down 4 from the 14.
Really good look at him getting his right hand on it. Good reaction when you play zone defense. In that zone defense, eyes are on the football, so you're able to react quickly. And what a job there getting that turnover down in the red area.
Needed to shore up the secondary. They got Gushikin from Wazoo. On the move, Chambliss across the middle, and the catch is made. Big shot delivered, and it's moving across the 30. Stribling picked up 17.
I really think Stribling all year been the most complete receiver that they have. Harrison Wallace had a big game last week against Georgia, but boy, Stribling 6'2", 210, making that catch there. And that's first down play selection, 13 passes, 1 run on 1st and 10.
Lacey still hasn't carried the ball since that 73-yard strike and the hamstring injury. He's been in there, but only as a decoy. They fake it to him again. Chambliss steps up, launches downfield. It's Wallace, and it's almost intercepted. The Canes drop another pick. Lucas got a hand on it. Ethan O'Connor couldn't collect it.
But they take a shot, and Chambliss had time to be able to make this happen. And it really took the backside to be able to come over from Xavier Lucas. 6 right there. He makes the play on the football. Of course, it would have been nice for O'Connor to be able to come up with that, but what an effort from the backside by Xavier Lucas to come all the way over to come up and get his hands on that football.
We see him why a lot of these good, fast athletes play defensive back, not receiver, right? Drop picks from both sides. Climbing the ladder and dribbling to make the catch. It's a first down out near the 45. 13 more.
Charlie Weiss Jr. told us that he has given his quarterback Trinidad Chambliss that anytime he sees a matchup that he likes, he doesn't care what the call is, take it. And that time they're sitting back, easy quick throw for a first down.
Again, they fake it to Lacey on the move, long sideline pitch, reaching up, making a catch and keeping a toe in is Deuce Alexander. 7 more his first catch.
Chambliss is a shortstop in his background, a point guard in his background. I think more and more with the style of play we see in college and NFL football, guys that have that background and play this quarterback spot because of the movement, the quick release, seeing the field. That time he looked like a shortstop turning 2, making that throw.
Chambliss pitches to Lee, and Lee. He's got some rhythm now, Chambliss. He narrowly is avoiding interceptions, but when he's throwing them to his guys, they're moving the ball.
Yeah, and I think stretching that defense, it's with that big shot downfield, even though they didn't hit it, gives something for those safeties in that secondary to think about. It can soften them up. Then you can go back to those quick, easy throws, and he gets the ball out so quick, it gives the yards after the catch a big opportunity.
Lacey motions out, 3 receivers to the left on this first down play. Chambliss fires sidelines, incomplete. It was a fastball a bit wide for Lacey. Lucas in coverage.
Yeah, we came into this game thinking we'd be talking a whole game about Ruben Bain, number 4, and Mesidor, right? And so far, they don't have a tackle for a loss. They don't have a sack. They have only 1 pressure. Combined, they have 7.5 sacks and 27 pressures in the first 2 rounds against A&M and Ohio State. And so far tonight, Ole Miss has found ways to neutralize them with a lot of quick throws and moving the launch point.
Yeah, maybe quick throws as opposed to great blocking. And now a shot downfield trying to get a streaking Deuce Alexander. Ethan O'Connor in coverage. 3rd and 10 now.
They see these corners out there one-on-one. They're very confident in these matchups. Pretty good job of coverage there by Ethan O'Connor. First-year transfer from Washington State, holding up there. Their 3rd down, so far 0 for 6 tonight.
Chambliss scrambling, and he'll be dragged down at the line of scrimmage. That was Armando Blunt. A sack might have moved them out of field goal range. As it is now, they'll trot Carnero out there.
Yeah, good job, because that time they cranked up the pressure. We mentioned how Bain and Mesidor have not been able to get home. So watch that second level. Drop the defensive end. This time the linebackers are freed up. Torrey, who's a great blitzer, but the effort there to get back close to the line of scrimmage gives them a chance here at this field goal.
Final minute of this 3rd quarter. Carnero, who just missed from 52 off the left upright, tries this one from 54 to make it a 1-point lead. And he's done it again. Are you kidding me? This bank shot goes in. Can you believe that? 2 doinks. One stays out, one goes through, and it's 17-16.
Chris, if we gave him 20 shots to try to hit an upright, I don't know if he intentionally could do it.
From 50 plus.
Right, but he's hit 2 in a row. This one catches the inside of that upright and goes through.
I'm loving the microphone on that goalpost, by the way.
Very crystal clear. Toink.
So we have a 1-point game. 22 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And it says, thank you. I was due one. Quarter, only 1 of the 3 field goal attempts has gone through cleanly, but Carnero, after hitting it off the left upright from 52, boink, at the bank shot seconds ago here.
Yeah. Tough to do. This one he catches a break. Those All-State Nets are getting overtime tonight.
Small margins, right? I mean, these games, we figured this would be a close one, and things like a dropped interception, a field goal bank shot, could decide it. ESPN and the CFP Foundation support
themselves in this position. They've dropped 3 or 4 interceptions. They've had some drops with their receivers. They've had the penalties, the turnover at the tip ball. These things have gone against them. Still have that 1-point lead here near the end of the 3rd.
Beating Fletcher running right. Mark Fletcher can have a way of regaining momentum for the football team. Around right edge, blocked from Bowman, and it's a 1st down.
Again, with the movement, the twist game, Ole Miss, they're either going to put themselves in a position to make a play or take themselves out of the position to make a play. And that time you were able to climb up to that 2nd level relatively easily because of movement up front with that Ole Miss defensive line.
Fletcher over 100 yards, 110 to be exact, after that run. How do you like this? Ole Miss and Miami battling for a spot in the national championship game. 1-point game, 15 minutes of regulation time remaining. Two resilient teams who have the last word in the last quarter. You're watching the Verbo Fiesta Bowl on ESPN. Final quarter at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Miami clinging to a lead, scoreless in the third quarter. Carnero's field goal got him back within one.
It's incredible to look at this, but we've been talking about it all night. By the time they're done with this drive, they'll have more than double the amount of plays Ole Miss has. See the yardage, third down convergence. Look at the time of possession. Miami's 6th in the country. They have 33.09 per game. And they're at over 33 minutes through 3 quarters. And we got a 1-point game somehow with all that.
That's Tony in motion, backwards pass in space. Look out. They moved him back, which is kind of clever because it gave Tony kind of a running start before he got near the defender. Picks up a big chunk of 12, first down.
Yeah, the orbit motion, just trying to give him, like you said, get him in space away from the defender. See the defender reacting because of that depth. He can. It's very tough to stay with Malachi Tony in space. Right there, not much of a chance at all for the nickelback TJ Banks to be able to make that play. Able to shake him. There's the blocking. Downfield by those receivers, Marion and C.J. Daniels, gave him room after he shook the safety, Banks, to have all that room to get the first down.
4th catch for Tony. He has 2 rushing attempts. They give kind of a jet sweep look and then feed Fletcher up the middle for a few.
What will Shannon Dawson have in his back pocket? Against Ohio State, he had some wrinkles late on some of those key drives where he gave different formations, gave some different looks where he was able to keep his quarterback, showed a kind of a speed option look, or he went heavy on one side. He'll do some false pulls, just show some things that he hasn't shown all game, typically in this 4th quarter.
Back, pressure picked up, and he'll get out for a second time. Son Terry and Perkins came flying in off the edge.
Chris, I think Fletcher looks surprised to me. Watch him right here in the backfield. Watch his eyes. He's just kind of looking left. And then, oh, wait, now I got to react quickly. I don't know if he was looking to the inside. See, he was confused. Maybe the inside backers. But whatever the result, I don't know if he thought the right tackle may have picked that up. But he was late to react, and an easy job there of Perkins getting home.
Normally a very reliable blocker against the blitz. Ole Miss defense again. Making a big play with the pass rush to create this 3rd and 16. Got to get inside the Ole Miss 40. Beck, he'll be sacked again. Goes down for a 4th time. Coverage sack. Will Eccles got home. And Ole Miss defense steps up.
And this is a team that we just showed you how many plays they've been out there and the time of possession. You think they're going to get tired in the 4th quarter. Instead, they rush essentially 3, and they're able to get him out of the pocket, step up, and there's Perkins again to be able to clean it up. But for a defense that you think would be worn down and tired in this 4th quarter, they step up on those last 2 plays.
All the focus on the Miami pass rush. They've got just 1. Beck sacked for a 4th time. That's the most Miami has allowed this season. Punt by Joyce, fair caught, about the 10-yard line. Early 4th quarter, Ole Miss back to work, down 1.
3rd down play, our AT&T connected cam. Here's Marion right here, matched up in man-to-man coverage. And watch how nobody follows him. You got man-to-man on your right. Everybody's in man coverage. The corner doesn't stay with him. If he throws that football, I mean, you're looking at running a long way, at very least for a 1st down. So a busted coverage this time by Ole Miss. Unable to take advantage of that because he would have been running a long way. Keelan Marion wide open.
Beck never saw him. Funny how the fog in the brain kind of increases when you've been sacked and knocked around. Beck sacked 3 times in the half, just 1 for 6 throwing the ball. And of course that opportunities for potential picks.
That's the first run in 20 straight plays where they've thrown the football. Down 1. And this quarterback has been one heck of a story. Trinidad Chambliss, Division II national champ, has made this run. And now here we are in the fourth quarter, down a point.
Pitch to the edge. Catch made by Stribling. He's begun to find some space along the sidelines in front of Ethan O'Connor that time.
And it's a good job of getting it out in a hurry, giving him a chance there. I thought he might come close to trying to turn the corner and fighting for that first down, but he is going to come up a bit short. Always tough against the Miami defensive line on third and short to get that tough yard. Lacey is in the game.
He's got the football. He does not have the first down initially, but spins out of the hands of Mesidor, and they move the chains.
Whoa. I mean, think about this. This is 3rd and 1. We just said how tough it is because the way they're able to shoot gaps. Mesidor has him. He's down. But the effort with a guy that's fighting through a hamstring situation on that right leg, that's his first carry. He gets the first down.
Fresh set of downs. Chambliss from the pocket launches downfield, going up and making the catch for a first down. Daquan Wright, the tight end.
Again, feel for spatial awareness. The corner 24 is going to go with one. Get the ball out so you don't let O'Connor react quickly. He did not hesitate. He got to the back of that, top of that drop. Ball was out in a hurry, and a good adjustment in the air by Wright.
Lacey feet up the middle, bangs forward. Physical run of 4 yards. Torre knocked him down.
You ever tweak a hamstring? I mean, anybody out there that's tweaked one, you know how sensitive that is and how one little burst and that thing can pop. And that's what he's dealing with right now. So got to give him a lot of credit on that long touchdown run. He tweaked it, and he's back out there trying to fight through it.
Lacey's got it again. He's got space. Makes a cut. Has a first down in Miami territory. I tweaked everything, the answer to the question. But I'm not an athlete, so I don't have to recover.
That's a whole different story. There he is, man. Knees up high, forcing a safety to make that play. I really think this entire year, their balance and their ability to run for 180 yards a game, that's why they are in this game. Trinidad Chambliss in his passing game are obviously a threat, but the balance is when Ole Miss is really at their best.
Tight ends booking each offensive lineman. They hand it off. This is Watkins. The speedy freshman picks up a couple.
They gave him a false read there. They pulled the right guard and the right tackle, trying to get the linebackers to react to that, trying to get them out of position, but they did not bite on that at all. Bissaint especially did a nice job of following the jet sweep motion and made that play.
Diggs in the game. Rebels getting closer to field goal range for Carnero. Pressure comes. Chambliss retreats and fires on the move. It is ruled a catch. Deuce Alexander was falling backwards. Did they rule that a catch? Now they say, what is the signal here? It's 3rd and 9. Yeah, incomplete. He was falling back.
Yeah, incomplete. Good job of getting out of there. Ole Miss got away with a hold by the left tackle, Diego Pounds. What penetration by that Miami defensive line. Moten, 99, was the first one in there.
Haynes showing blitz again. They bring it. Chambliss hit as he throws. Complete across the middle. Standing and delivering to Caden Lee, who took a big shot. Flag down where the tackle was made.
Chris, Keontae Scott, who's been blitzing all season long and getting home, he's the guy who hits him right as he throws the football. Somehow he blocked that out, kept his focus downfield, and makes an accurate throw.
Scott arrives in a hurry.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense number 6. The play will be under further review.
And Xavier Lucas, second time the targeting has been reviewed. They picked up the flag in the first half against Ole Miss.
Well, Chris, we'll look at that targeting, but again, let's watch the pressure here from the outside, the backside of the quarterback. Watch Chambliss right at the last second be able to make that throw right over the umpire. Takes this hit, keeps his focus, tough guy, and then here's what we got to ask Bill about. They took one off earlier. This time, is that a launch, Bill? What are your thoughts on this hit by Lucas?
You do have a launch, and I'd still consider him a defenseless player because he's going to the ground and he hasn't completed the process.
How is it different than the first one?
Different from the first one is that there was no launch, there was no upward thrust. This is launching right into him.
You call that an upward thrust? Okay, well, we'll see.
No, I don't have, I say this is a launch into him.
Okay.
A launch.
There's Lucas
and
coming
if they
in.
feel it's forcible contact.
No, already the ball is moved near the 36. If that penalty is upheld, Ole Miss is going to be down near the red zone. That's to be clear and obvious to change the field, call on the field of targeting. Cristobal going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Sideline. The side judge there.
After review, the ruling of targeting is upheld. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Number 6 is disqualified for the remainder of the contest.
So Lucas has been a solid corner this year out of the game.
He's played great tonight, too.
And Ole Miss set up at the 21-yard line. Penalties beginning to become a major factor for Miami. They were a big part of their second loss of the season. SMU at 12 that game. 8 now.
Now, Ole Miss started at their own 10-yard line here in this fourth quarter.
Jabari Antoine is a true freshman. Number 16 has stepped in the absence of Lucas. Lacey up the right side as a gap. Kewan Lacey has come back after halftime with that hamstring treated. A flag comes in at the end of the play.
Miami came in there late into the pile. It's going to be on the Canes again. I think this one's on 11, David Blay.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, defense number 11. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Miami's come completely unraveled with these mental mistakes.
Yeah, they really have. Back-to-back penalties. Well, from our right, you'll see 11 come in right there. Play's dead. An easy call for the official. Just can't make those mental mistakes, obviously. They're taking Blay off the field.
Just giving Ole Miss 15-yard gifts. Now the first red zone snap this offense has had tonight. And they punch it in to make it an 8-point lead. Lacey up the middle, spun down inside the 5. Holly.
Guys, this is huge information right now. Xavier Lucas out with the targeting. O.J. Frederick has not played in this second half, and it looks right now like Akeem Mesidor is also down. So that means a true freshman, Jabari Antoine, is in, number 16, and Ethan O'Connor is holding down the other corner spot. Both starting corners out of this game for Miami in this crucial moment.
So the injuries piling up, the penalties piling up. Correct myself, a touchdown here, of course, would put Ole Miss on top by 6. Big concern for one of the stars of this Miami defense at the moment.
CFP semifinal at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl is brought to you by Verbo. Enter Verbo sweepstakes at verbosweeps.com for your chance to win a free stay. Gatorade and Taco Bell.
Ole Miss down 1 with the football. And Miami looking at their sack leader, one of the emotional leaders of this team, Akeem Mesidor, walking off. They brought an elbow brace from the locker room out there. That did not look good. Watch as he's fallen on here. Right of your picture, the right arm on Toure, and then Saunders gets pushed down on top.
Yeah, Sanders goes right down. Boom, right there. Jeez.
Right into the medical tent. Meanwhile, a 2nd and goal for the Rebels on the Miami 5, trying to take the lead here in the final 8 minutes. Deuce Alexander, one of the receivers, in position to take a direct snap. Now they move around, and Chambliss goes back in shotgun position. So a pre-snap wrinkle here. After all that, they feed it to fake it to Lacey, and Chambliss goes to the right end, picks up only about a yard. So 3rd and goal coming up.
This is where Charlie Weiss Jr. likes to use his legs down inside the 10-yard line. We saw last week against Georgia. This is where they'd like to use that +1 zone read here. Pulls it. Now it's a foot race to get around that corner, pick up some good yardage. 3rd down, though.
Not elite in these goal-to-goal situations, despite how explosive this Rebels offense is. Chambliss in the flat, it's dropped. And they tried to get Lacey out of the backfield. Keontae Scott was in coverage. And here comes Carnero one more time.
Yeah, if he would have just waited a beat, Deuce Alexander, I think, was able to come free behind this throw to Lacey. He's in the back. If he just would have taken maybe one more hitch, and Deuce Alexander reacted by moving his hands in frustration. But Miami's defense, despite all those mistakes, the late hits, looked like they may give up a touchdown. They hold inside that 5-yard line to a field goal.
Big difference. That was a 4-point play, that drop. Carnero puts Ole Miss on top, though. 19-17. What a drive. 13 plays, 86 yards, 519. That's a marathon for Ole Miss, and penalty aided. Eli's guys up on top now.
Ole Miss has taken the 19-17 lead over Miami. A lot of it thanks to Lucas Carnero. He's been such a weapon for this Ole Miss team. And you see this last kick from him, a really strong follow through from the kicking leg. He had been watching film on the other 2 field goal attempts that were much longer. He said he was stopping his kicking foot a little bit too short, wanted to really follow this one through. That's going to be intentional for him if he gets another opportunity in this game.
Well, he's tried 5 field goals, hit the upright twice, made 4 of them, and he has put Ole Miss on top, one of the heroes of their win in the Sugar Bowl. Tomorrow, the 2nd CFP semifinal, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the old Big Ten rematch. The Ducks and the Hoosiers, who demolished Alabama. College game day is at 6 o'clock Eastern. Game coverage begins 90 minutes after that. All right, Kirk, here we got the Miami offense, which in the second half has been held scoreless. 119 total yards, but only 19 passing yards for Beck. They've harassed him, and he's gone cold.
Remember, earlier this year, he's had 2 big wins when they trail in the 4th quarter, Notre Dame and A&M. So he has obviously the experience.
Play fake on 1st down, launching downfield, and fighting back to make a catch is Marion. Flags fly in. He was interfered with. They rule it incomplete. It was Chris Graves, who has been involved a lot in physical coverage. Obvious flag that time.
Pass interference, defense, number 32. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
But Beck was going there all along. He had press coverage, loves to match up against Graves, believes that Marion can beat him. There's a little tug there, another little tug. Graves is way out of phase, never locates the football. And in NFL football, that's a spot foul. In college football, it's 15 yards. So he probably does the right thing, just grabbing on there. He had no idea where he was on the field.
This is the 3rd Rebels penalty, the 1st of the second half. All of a sudden, Keelan Marion has become the main target for Beck. Pitch to the edge. C.J. Daniels weaves his way, gets some blocks, and picks up about 8.
Another false pull this time from Miami. They pulled their left guard, Matthew McCoy. Again, when you see that, you're just trying to slow the linebackers down with a quick throw to that side.
You mentioned Beck's experience in these late game situations. He's been a winner against ranked teams in his career. This is Fletcher around the end. Mark Fletcher with a big stiff arm, shoved out of bounds, but he's in Ole Miss territory at the 36, picked up 17.
And always watch 61. Maui Noah, good job, set that edge, and Fletcher knows he can always count on 61. Bounces it, finds grass, and uses his speed. He's a physical guy, but at 6'2", man, he's got good speed and can cover a lot of ground. What a response here so far from Miami's offense.
Already in field goal range for Davis. They don't want to score too soon. They would love to use more clock. Fletcher slipped, Tried to hit the brakes as he approached the line of scrimmage and lost his footing for a loss of 1.
We've only seen that a couple times. He's just trying again, make that quick, hard cut. Right there, his feet come out from underneath him. Think about this Miami team. I mean, this is a team that has had 4 dropped interceptions, 9 penalties, a missed field goal, -1 on the turnover margin. They've had some penalties that, you know, that just have been mental errors, and yet here they are.
Brown back in the game. Fletcher out as Tony comes in motion. They get it to him. Tony has space. Malachi Tony still running. Touchdown Miami! Electric with the ball in his hands. The game winner, the only touchdown in the opening round against A&M, puts Miami back on top. Just get him the ball.
Yeah, get him the ball in space. That was a big key in this game, is Ole Miss tackling in space against Malachi Tony. He's so dangerous. This is Miami's offense. The quick throws, they motioned him over. Ole Miss did not respond to it, gave him space, gave the lineman a chance to get out in front.
And went 75 yards in 4 plays, did it in less than 2 minutes. So good news for Miami. They're on top. Bad news, Chambliss has plenty of time to work with.
Yeah, and he's going to start right here, and you'll see him go in motion. I thought you might see Ole Miss respond. You see the hand gesture from the safety, but nobody's able to come up and take that space away. And look at the offensive line working in unison, trying to create that wall. He does a good job getting behind that wall, and now it's just him being a natural athlete. It's a guy that reclassified, should be a senior in high school. That's how young this guy is, but is so mature, beyond his years, has such poise, such a team guy. How fitting for him to make this play, and a good job of the big fellas up front getting out in front of him to be able to make him do what he does so well, and that's just be a natural with the ball in his hands.
He's a high football IQ guy. He's kind of wise beyond his years. He was ready for the big stage. At the time, he was 17 against Notre Dame in the opener. Got the first touchdown pass from back as a Hurricane in that game. He set the game winner on an end around against A&M, and now the go-ahead touchdown.
How about the reactions? Mario Cristobal stomping up and down the sideline with bravado and confidence, and Pete Golding saying, we knew coming in we could not let 10 get out in space. We got to tackle better. It's been a problem all year, and it cost him right there.
Golding is remarkably calm no matter what's happening on the field.
Yeah, that's true.
But he also knows that he's got Trinidad Chambliss. Guy who's a championship quarterback in Division II. Many of you know his story. Backup QB2 at the start of the season. Austin Simmons gets hurt. Chambliss jumps in, steadily improved. He's been electric in this CFP. Tonight, modest stats by comparison, but here he goes. It's in his hands.
He plays his best when the lights are the brightest, when the moment's the biggest. He's proven to be one of those guys that has very, very calm disposition. See what he does here against Miami, down 5.
Somehow Akeem Mesidor is back on the field, trying to rush the passer, but wide open downfield is Daquan Wright. And a dime from Chambliss picks up 21.
That's the same throw he made a little bit earlier. Safety back deep. Miami's trying to think, let's keep everything in front of us. The problem is they're creating a lot of space underneath. And he does a nice job of just kind of working from right here. Watch the safety, how deep he is. Corner on the outside, goes with that outside receiver. So you got a lot of room to be able to work with. And this tight end Wright's been dangerous all year.
Jacoby Thomas is a punishing hitter, but that time he took the worst of it. He's out of the game now, holding his arm. So a key safety in this Miami defense. Their top interceptor is off the field. Keywan Lacey. Bain wraps him up, drops him for about a 1.5 yard gain.
And going back early to Holly's report, you got Lucas, who's still not out there. Ethan O'Connor, 24, is a starter. You got a true freshman on the other side at corner, 16. And Antoine, let's see how he holds up. He's down here.
Four-man rush. Sideline pitch in a battle for the ball. It's incomplete. Stribling went up. Jabor Antoine battled him.
And he just said, let's see how this freshman holds up. I'll show you exactly. He's going up against the best Ole Miss wide receiver. They went after the freshman. Watch him finish on the play. You do that in drills all the time. Watch this. Gets his hands in there, knocks it out. Great job there by the rookie.
Ole Miss playing with some tempo. And now some adjustments. Jacoby Thomas back in the game for Miami. Missed just the one play. 3rd down and 8 here. And Miami again spending a timeout on defense. Enormously important 1 or 2 play sequence.
Miami.
Assume that maybe Golding's thinking it's a 4-down territory here. Down by 5.
They were moving some guys around. They had Reuben Bain lined up at the nose spot. You had Messidor, who, it's amazing, he's out there. He was lined up on the opposite side of the left defensive end. So I think Heatherman and Mario just, hey, let's make sure this is such a big play. Let's get everybody on the same page.
Crucial moments here. 1-score game. AT&T bringing you the bracket. Oregon and Indiana watching down in Atlanta. The winner here, a week from Monday, will collide in Miami for the national championship. Everything hanging in the balance in the final 4:16. 3rd down and 8. Chance for the Canes defense to rest and get organized. Some new pieces out there, some inexperienced coverage guys, as we talked about.
Well, they've been better here in the second half on 3rd down. They've hit 2 of their last 3.
Chambliss, pressure, ball out quickly, incomplete. It was a slant. A flag comes in. It was Wallace, and Antoine was in coverage that time. Cristobal incredulous.
He had contact on the shoulder. I don't know if it's enough to be able to be. Let's take a close look here after this call.
Defense, number 16. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
It's against Wallace, who had the big game last week. You see Mario's reaction. Bill, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this right here. That contact right there, grabbed onto him. What do you think?
It's a foul. He's grabbed a hold of him, restricted him. It's a correct call.
Moves the ball to the 45. Fresh set of downs, more importantly, for Chambliss. Pressure comes again. Chambliss escapes and runs forward for a 1st down and more. Trinidad Chambliss again, a little elusive magic late in the game.
You bring a blitz here and you play man-to-man. You better get to the quarterback, because watch, he can take off. You got a lot of backs to the quarterback. Puts him in a very tough spot, so they rolled the dice, unable to get to him, and his athletic ability makes them pay.
Had not hurt Miami as a scrambler until that 19-yard gain. Now Lacey. That's deflating for a defense. Boy, you felt you had him contained there most of the night. He got loose and showed the speed.
Yeah, and I think, you know, he hasn't really had many opportunities to step up and out with the way Miami has played. That time he picked the right time, avoided that pressure by Touré, and just took off.
Again, the Canes bring pressure. Chambliss delivers. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Daquan Wright. The Rebels back on top. What a drive. Chambliss with it on the line, as you said. He's got a big game, postseason game pedigree.
And they ran that same route to the left twice. This time they hit it for a big touchdown. We'll show it to you in a second. Ole Miss obviously up 1. He's got to go for 2 here.
Trying to make this 3-point lead. Once again, it's Deuce Alexander lined up, and he'll motion out and bring Chambliss back in. You want the ball in number 6's hands. Chambliss on the move, scanning, end zone, caught! 2-point conversion by Caleb Odom. to play, and the lead is 3.
Chris, let's look at our clicker here. Wallace goes deep. That takes care of the corner. Once again, the tight end right here is going to take advantage of this space. There's the corner going deep. Chambliss feels it, understands he's got that space again. They ran it twice to the left, this time to the right. Chambliss in rhythm, saw exactly what he needed to see with that corner clearing. Safety is deep, off of the tight end. And Wright has had a heck of a second half. 3 receptions, 64 yards, and a touchdown. And here he just finds a wide open receiver there for the 2-point conversion.
There were times against Georgia, but he turned the Superdome into his backyard. More contained performance tonight, but under duress, Cham was able to produce some more magic. And Beck and the Canes answer. 5th lead change of this game, which is developing into a classic.
Yeah, 3 lead changes in the last 5 minutes.
Yep.
Insane. Now it's Carson Beck's chance. I mean, keep in mind what we're playing for here, guys. This is a great game. The winner's going to the national championship. These teams are fighting to the end.
Ole Miss trying to win their first widely recognized national championship. They claim 3, not really the major service bowls. Miami trying to get back home to play for their first championship since 2001. Tony in the slot to the left. Fletcher is the back. Beck right down the middle, and it's underthrown. That was Marion streaking down the field. Jalen Braxton in coverage.
Well, Shannon Dawson starting to take some chances here and trying to find some one-on-one matchups. This is what he likes to do. He trusts Beck. Beck got that ball out very, very early.
That ball came out funky.
I think if he puts more air under that, gives his receiver maybe a chance to run underneath it. But you're right, they've been going after Marion. They like that matchup into the boundary.
No completions beyond the line of scrimmage in the second half for Beck. And that electric little pass to Tony, but he did all the work after that. Sideline route, catch made. Again, looking for Keelan Marion, the veteran.
See, they have put Braxton now into that boundary corner. Graves Jr.'s been in there, but now you see 2 just try to take away those deep shots, but Miami able to get some positive yards. 3rd and 2 now.
It's Fletcher up the middle. Fletcher fights forward for a first down to the 37.
That's where your composure as a play caller and a quarterback comes into play. You don't have to get it all at once. In just under 3 minutes, you got 2 timeouts, a 2-minute timeout. Plenty of time. Field goal range could tie it. Touchdown takes the lead.
Launching downfield for the tight end. Incomplete. Bowman had his hands on it. Wydett Williams got there to disrupt it and prevent the catch.
You know, we saw a Miami defender make this play, the young freshman corner, Antoine, where he didn't give up on the play. That looks like a catch. But because Williams never gave up on the ball, his hands got it. That looks like a catch. But look at the effort there by 16. Kept trying to get his hands on that football, make Bellman finish on that play, and eventually separates him, and the ground helps out.
Dawson and Beck continually testing this Ole Miss secondary here again with these shots. Second down, check down, nothing. Hit behind the line is Brown. He spins out of the tackle of Daughtry briefly. Salvages a 2-yard gain. 3rd and 8 coming up.
Yeah, Miami is a heavy screen team, and it's a good job here of recognizing that by the leader of this defense, TJ Daughtry, to be able to see that, anticipate it, be in position to make that tackle.
They will not snap it again before the 2-minute timeout. 3 lead changes here deep in the 4th quarter. Beck trying to reclaim the lead. 2 minutes away from the championship game, one of these teams. 3rd and 8 when you come back. Nice, got massive sequence here. What is Shannon Dawson like? What can Beck execute? Brown is the back. Tony motions over to the left slot. Rebels don't bring pressure. Back, launching down to the far sideline. Going to come back for the ball is Keelan Marion. Jalen Braxton is flagged. All of a sudden, the officials becoming a major part of the story here, second half of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and he stepped out of bounds or close to it being, I don't know if he was pushed out of bounds on his route.
Face mask, defense, number 2, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And because of the back shoulder, that's where the hand gets up into the face mask. He's trying to adjust back to the ball, and that was his reaction right away.
He did get his hand in the face mask, Bill. Did he turn the head enough to be justified in a 15-yard penalty?
I've got him grabbing it. There's a twist to the head. Good call.
I think so, too.
Moves the ball to the Ole Miss 46. Penalties a huge part of this final quarter. Back quickly to Daniels. Daniels weaves through traffic. Rebels did a good job fighting through the blocks, holding to about a 4-yard gain. Williams got him down.
Yeah, they keep going to these screens. Offensive linemen like a convoy out in front. Challenge Ole Miss in third level. See if they can make tackles against these receivers.
Just about in field goal range for Davis, but Beck thinking touchdown. Does not want to take a sack. Spins free and throws it high along the near sideline. No signal yet.
They're giving him the catch.
They give him the catch.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, this guy's done everything this year. Watch this catch. One hand, and then somehow, does he get a foot down?
Oh, my goodness. The toe is down. Is the heel down out of bounds? Oh, obviously, look at that.
I'm just caught up in the one-handed catch. And then to be able to try to have the mind to be able to get your foot down close. But that heel, Bill.
It's under review. When you come down and you want to do a toe tap, you have to definitely show a toe and the heel up. He came down with his foot. This is an incomplete pass.
Yeah, clearly. But what a great catch. You're right.
I'm still looking at that somehow. The catch and then the foot to get down, it happened so fast there. Almost like the Omar Cooper catch at the back of the end zone for Indiana against Penn State.
It's a good distinction that Bill made. A toe tap is good, but when you land toe first and the heel hits immediately,
waved off.
Not in bounds.
Yeah.
Doesn't take away from the incredible effort as Tony has made a big impact here in the second half.
And that was also an adjustment to a scramble by his quarterback. He's trying to come back and help him out. He must have gone up well over 10 feet to be able to make that catch.
It's going to be a third down play.
It's an incomplete pass. Third down. Reset the game clock.
So another crucial third down in this game. They need 6.
Now the 3rd and 8, they got the face mask. The last time they had a third down, they got the first.
If they don't make a yard here, they're still within range for Davis. It'd be the longest one he's made at Miami. I don't think they'd feel real comfortable about that.
And Carson Beck's got to be smart about not taking a sack.
Well, the Rebels bring some pressure. They back out. Beck looks near sideline. Daniels makes the catch. Lunges near the marker. And the spot is going to give him a first down at the 35.
I really think because he knew where he had to go, he was a yard beyond the first down marker. I think he caught the ball close to already having the first down. He does give you the extra effort there with that lunge. But I think the catch initially, in that effort there for sure, gets that.
Knee went down. Ball was in front of the pylon. Minute 10 and counting. Back again. Lobs it high. Daniels this time could not come down with it.
That effort and that play by C.J. Daniels on 3rd and 6 makes the catch, gets the first down, now assures them at the very least of being in field goal range. If that's incomplete, then you're looking at a long field goal, right? So new set of downs, great effort at the 35 already and in field goal range.
It'd be a 53-yarder from Davis, who kicked one that long against Florida this year, and of course had the game winner against Notre Dame from 47. Three-man rush. Back. Still looking. Moving. And threw it high. Nobody open. He rolled into the boundary, and there wasn't much space there.
I don't know if that went off the fingertips of Perkins, but that's what you don't want to do. If you're going to throw it away, throw it in the 12th row. This is crazy. Watch how close this comes to Perkins. Rather than taking that chance, just throw it up and out of there. Rushing 3 and dropping 8. That is tough on a quarterback. Takes away all those throwing lanes and windows.
He rolled right into the heavy traffic. Now, how risky do you play it? They are in field goal range. It's a long distance one. 4-man rush. Back across the middle. Caught! First down. Keelan Marion stepping up and making a massive contribution tonight. Picked up 17.
And Malachi Toney catches the attention of the linebackers, and that's what opened up that lane. But what a gutsy throw there by Carson Beck.
Carson Beck in his 7th year of college football. His first with the Hurricanes, trying to bring all that experience and mental strength into play here. It's a keeper. Beck bouncing off people. That should be knocked down for a short loss. That's a rarity.
Yeah, not something you really want to see there. Chris, watch the attention by the linebackers on Malachi Toney. He's trying to just go in there and then pull him out. Opens up that lane right there, and Carson Beck throws an absolute laser in there for that conversion to Marion. Didn't even blink.
Bang. Now obviously well within range for Davis, but that would just force overtime. How aggressive does Dawson and Beck want to play this? Go for the win right here.
I think you go for the win. I mean, you got a veteran quarterback, you got an offense right now that's in a groove.
You want to go for the win, but what do you call here? Do you take shots downfield?
No, I think you do what you've been doing. I think you got to work Malachi Toney. You try to get that screen game going, try to make this secondary that struggled to tackle Malachi Toney in space. Keep playing that game. I mean, if you get a matchup that's favorable and they're in the safety over top, yeah, take a shot. But look at these guys. I mean, this is too good.
The fans for neither team can really breathe at this point.
I'm with them. This is amazing.
Still 2 timeouts for Miami. Brown is the back.
Toney on the slot to the right.
Plenty of time across the middle. Catch made and spun down at the 8-yard line is Marion again. It's going to be 1st and goal.
So he showed a quick pass to C.J. Daniels right here, and then he tried to sneak Malachi Toney. It was taken away. How about the patience to work all the way back to that backside and once again find Marion for another catch. 7 receptions, 114 yards for number 0 tonight.
You wonder which side might take the timeout. In that case, it was Ole Miss right on defense that took that timeout.
Smart. I mean, at this point, both. You can make a case for both sides. I think Miami can continue again to be aggressive. This is our 4th quarter, and what we've seen, all these lead changes. Miss with that field goal. Malachi Toney responds. What an answer by the Canes to go back up by 5. And here comes Trinidad Chambliss.
Answer the answer.
Answer the answer. 2-pointer. They go up by 3. You're thinking Miami's down and out. Nope. Here they come back. Down 3. Chance maybe to take the lead here in regulation. Not even think about overtime.
Very slow tempo offense, but they've moved it in 2:42. 67 yards in 13 plays. 1st and goal.
Condensed look here with these receivers in tight.
They feed Brown. Marty Brown barrels down to the 2. Picked up 5. And Cristobal now will spend one of his 2 remaining timeouts with 23 seconds
Why
to
are
go.
we not surprised that Mario Cristobal, after they moved the ball all the way down the field with Carson Beck, you're thinking about Toney or you're thinking about Marion or what are they going to do? Instead, they rely on old reliable, that big, strong offensive line and the running game. At the 8-yard line, get all the way down to where are they? About the 3 now.
But no surprise with this power running game, this offensive line, that Miami's been very, very efficient this season in these goal-to-goal situations. Very, very, very hard to stop. 29 of them, 25 touchdowns. Now, the added element here is they don't have unlimited time to work with.
Right, and we talked all night about this running game and the amount of plays and how tired would Ole Miss be? Would they have enough gas in a tank in a fourth quarter? Now you wonder, is Mario Cristobal looking at a defensive line that he can again run the football at them again?
88 snap. This Ole Miss defense has been on the field tonight. 50 runs they've had to defend. The Canes within 3 yards of a game-winning touchdown, which would send them home to the championship game.
It was Marty Brown against Ohio State. Does he get another opportunity?
3 receivers, bunch to the left. Beck is looking that way. And still looking, takes off running. Carson Beck with his legs puts Miami on top. What a drive. You thought they might run it in. You didn't think number 11 would run it in.
Yeah, that's right. What great composure, and how fitting for Carson Beck to have this moment. Been through so much in his career, especially in Athens. Went to university at Miami and Louisville and the SMU games. And to have this moment right here.
Gardner Davis makes it a 4-point game, Kirk.
Chris, what really impresses me is he didn't press. He didn't try to make a play. Patiently looked at it and eventually walks into the end zone. This is the conversion. It's 3rd and 6. Great effort by C.J. Daniels. 3rd and 10. Keelan Marion on the backside. Great throw there between those 2 linebackers. Here, trying to get that slot fade down that right sideline. Nope, comes back to Marion again. And in here, doesn't force it. Sees that they're in man-to-man. Nobody there to account for Carson Beck. And able to go to the left side, walk into the end zone, right to his fan base for this touchdown.
Don't think he could believe he had that much space. Hadn't had a rushing touchdown, Kirk, since week 3 against South Florida, and a romp over the Bulls. Pete Golding, his defense out there, battled all night, but you said the body blows. That was the 88th play Miami has run tonight, the 51st run. Wow.
Incredible. Incredible.
You said it, you know, Carson Beck came to Miami because he wanted a chance to play for a championship. Long career at Georgia, had his moments, but in the end it was time to mutually part ways. He fell in love with football again by coming to Miami, being around this group of guys. We wondered, we ever see that fire in his eyes? We ever see him smile on a field, Kirk? We wondered.
He is a guy that he wants to win so badly, and he's a pleaser. And when people get frustrated with him, he gets frustrated with them and their attitude towards him. And I think he's found a home here in Miami. It's very fitting, like I said, that he had this moment. Let's go back and look again at this touchdown.
How do you get all this space here?
Yeah, look at the man-to-man coverage. You have trips to the left. Watch the secondary. They all have to react. They're worried about Tony. They're worried about Marion. Nobody thought about the quarterback. Like you said, the last time he ran the football in on a scramble was week 3. There's nobody there. The trips went from the left. You can see them all going to the right. It left a huge vacancy off to the left. He saw it, took advantage of it.
Chambliss needs 75 yards. Can he produce an Ole Miss miracle? Pressure comes, delivers across the middle, and the catch is made. Out near midfield is Caden Lee. Rebels with 1 timeout.
Yeah, hold on to that timeout. Either get that play called or you're going to fire this in the ground. Save every second you can. If you're Trinidad Chambliss, get that ball fired.
Van and Mesidor back out there. When Notre Dame was threatening after Miami had taken the lead, they were able to kill the game with a pass rush. They haven't been able to get near Chambliss much tonight, just the 1 sack.
They better not be celebrating yet. That's why you saw Mario Cristobal, one of his coaches, grabbed him. He said, "Get off me, it's not over yet." And he's right, not against 6.
Not at the Fiesta Bowl. Chambliss steps up and fires across the middle. Catch is made.
Now they're going to timeout.
Dribbling at the 35, down to 5 seconds. So probably time for just 1 more play.
Wow.
This has become a classic CFP game, Kirk. One of the best fourth quarters we've seen in the history of the playoff, and maybe going back farther in postseason football. 4 lead changes in the fourth quarter.
I mean, we've done these games since 2009, and I mean, there's been some great games along the way. I can't remember anything like this. I mean, Carson Beck scored that touchdown. He walked in there and thought, okay, man, we've done it. There's no way they're going to be able to come back, and here they are. 13 seconds, they've gone 40 yards. And they're going to have a legitimate play call here from the 35-yard line. You don't necessarily have to throw a Hail Mary. This is where Charlie Weiss Jr. is going to dial something up, see what he can come up with.
No, but you got to score a touchdown. You figure they got just one play, right?
Yeah,
you can't squeeze 2 plays out of this.
No, I don't. Unless you just throw a quick one to the sideline just to get 5, 7, 8 yards and get out of bounds. Yeah, I mean, like right now, you see at the bottom and the left. I mean, if you just threw a quick one, you could and step out of bounds, but I think you could take a shot. You got 3 receivers to the right. Miami way back.
Miami had 1 timeout left, and Cristobal's going to spend it. And it comes down to this. 35 yards away. Do you take a shot to the sidelines, get a little closer? You feel like your chance is better from 20 or 25 yards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is if you ran an out cut, like a quick outlet, 5-yard out, you just throw it, right? I think you could do that within 3-4 seconds. Miami's so far back, at least now you're looking at maybe a 20, 25-yard play.
But how great has this been? These 2 quarterbacks, very different styles, very different career journeys. Both of them coming to their respective schools for 1 season, for 1 chance to be in this position. Beck did his work. I think you're right. He thought it was going to be enough. But Chambliss trying to have the last word of this classic and put his team in the Hurricanes' hometown.
Before Miami called the timeout, they had everybody back deep. Now they've made some adjustments. They've walked some of these defensive backs up tighter not to give that quick, easy throw. Now you got to take a shot.
Very different look on defense from before the timeout. You're right. Chambliss connects the snap, backpedals, launches to the end zone. Broken up. And the Miami Hurricanes head home to play for a championship. Counted out after their 2nd loss. 2 really resilient teams have both shown a ton of heart in the last month. It came down to a heave to the end zone.
And what a privilege to be able to just be here at this stadium and call a game like this with so much at stake. Stribling trying to make a play on the ball, just a Hail Mary. O'Connor
grabbing both guys.
Yeah, O'Connor there, the defenders doing their jobs. Really no chance. That ball goes deep to the back part of this end zone. See the defender there coming over, Poyser to knock it away. But man, just a great effort, especially in the 4th quarter. The game started off very unusual style with Miami dominating, yet only up by 4 in the first half. And in the second half, it kind of turned into the game we were expecting from the beginning. Back and forth, Chambliss making some plays, Beck making some plays. And what a classic, 31-27 with the Canes advancing.
2 teams that just refuse to yield, back and forth, back and forth. You know, Stribling got a hand on that pass at the end. He got to the deflection, couldn't come up with it.